there's just no effort for like visual variance. They suck. They suck. This is the Imperial Scrolls of Honor podcast. I am Josh Folan.
And I am Jay Baxtron.
And we are going to be bullshitting about the 400 years of console gaming as we revisit the periodicals that covered it again. Every now and then, roughly twice a year at the current clip, we dabble with an RPG side quest on this pod feed. RPG side quests, dear Lord disciples, are when we incrementally fiddle with an old school RPG, start to finish, with the assistance of vintage game literature. Today is one of those days. And the quest we be dabbling in is Sega's 1990 release of Phantasy Star 2 on the SEGA Genesis. And let's see if we even remember how to do this, Jay. You already made an allusion off mic to not being able to. So I expect that there may be a hiccup or two because we don't ever do this. And I think that's a function of the game we have been immersed in. But whatever.
Agreed.
Let's get through it. The accompanying literatures of antiquity for us on this undertaking are the 52-page pack-in instruction manual and the official Phantasy Star 2 hint book, a 114-page tome also published by Sega around the time of the game's release stateside. The link to a PDF of both of those documents of lore, along with some accompanying pack-in materials, maps, and charts, are always in the show notes for the duration of the quests. Emulation disclosure, so you know the tools with which we are undertaking our quest to defeat the Archfiend Mother Brain. Jay, how do you play this video game when you play it?
I use the classic 6-button SEGA Genesis controller via Kega Fusion with the launch box front end.
Okay, so you have not upgraded to RetroArch yet, despite my incessant...
Again, I have it, but it only, at the current setup, launches Nintendo games and like Atari games and other words. For some reason, when I first set it up, like it was only really Nintendo and other stuff, and like Sega just auto went through Fusion. So I just let it roll that way at this point.
Okay.
It's weird, but yeah.
And you definitely just have to click on Add Cores on the
I know.
the first menu, and then more importantly, you have to connect it to Retro Achievements so you can. Sure. Jay, I spent a few hours yesterday getting various Game Boy achievements. Fucking Motocross Maniacs, Alleyway, Super Mario Land, Batman. It's sick. It's a
I will say this.
Sickness.
I will say this. If you think there's any way that I was messing up or altering my save file experience, trying to change cores right now, in any way to have to start over.
That is a super fair concern. That's a super fair concern.
Yeah. now that we're done.
Yeah.
Talk to me, holla.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair. Jab, how did you play? Oh, that's right. Side questing is beyond his means. My Abernic 351MP handheld emulator was the way that I got through my experience for this episode, as I have been doing.
I forgot you used that. I totally forgot.
Yeah, it had quite the impact on my experience, so we'll discuss that later for sure. Please rate and review the pod wherever you listen if you do enjoy our shit, RPG questing or otherwise. It helps us quest. Where we left off ever so long ago, we were told by our commanding officer to take the spaceship on the roof of Paseo's Central Tower, and by the space pirate Tyler prior to that we should be heading to Dezo. So with this information in hand, it was pretty easy to know what our next steps were getting into this play, or section of our play. So leaving Moda, we start doing these things, work that flowchart. The roof is an available option when you go into the tower now, so you just go up there. And we cut to a windowed view of the spaceship, captioned, "This is Moda's only remaining spaceship," which, certainly undermines. I had, going through my notes last episode, I was doing a bunch of shit talking about, why the fuck had they hidden this from us to date, if we're supposedly out doing all this shit for the betterment of mankind here, or the betterment of these citizens, why are you hiding this, incredibly useful tool from us? And it's, in hindsight, if it's the very last one, I can see why they'd be a little protective of it, I guess. So,
it's like, well, now that you've done all of this for us, I guess,
maybe you're worth expending this fucking piece of this resource on. So, I stand corrected a little bit there. We are told it's entirely automatic, so anyone can fly it. And then we internally ponder, shall we fly to Dezo? And if you say no, the party leaves Central Tower without boarding the spaceship. And if you say yes, now leaving for Dezo, that's of course what we want to do, because we want to get this fucking game over with. So, selecting the latter, more adventurous option treats us to a zippy little animation of the spaceship looping through space towards a dramatically half-lit planet that has ice vibes about it, before cutting to the party standing on a walkway in a black void. We are standing on what is a launch pad. The ship is there ready to depart back to Moda, if you so desire, and there's a new music track eerily scoring our exploration here, titled Silent Zone. I thought it might be, given that it was, I don't know, a fucking launching pad, but it is not friendly territory. I was in a battle with a couple of Dezo owls after only a few tentative steps east from here. And getting what was not a robot, I don't know if you recall, but you had a wrecker experiment planned in your, parting thoughts in our last episode. You were thinking about getting the wrecker involved in your party. So I guess my first question is, did you do that?
I did end up pulling the wrecker. It was a very tough decision, honestly, because my experience was totally fine. I knew how to play, I knew who was doing what, taking what actions. It was very, for as much time as we've taken in between playthroughs here, I definitely had a plan and everything was going well. But there was still that thought when I come up against 2 giant robots and 1 medium-sized robot, golly, it's just taking so long. I don't know how many more robots there are going to be, but I might need to upgrade my experience. So I did pull the trigger and
break him over.
Yeah, I had to swap out Amy, which was sad, man, because she was great, but I had to go for more damage.
And that's basically my thought here, is coming in here, seeing what were not robots. I was like, oh, that maybe, because I, of course, had my record by now as well. I had him looped in as of the last episode. So yeah, I got in here and I was like, ah, shit. There are some robots, but it's not just robot centric the rest of the way, might have been my thought and impetus for making that Craigslist fucking couch crasher change. As for what the space is supposed to be in the overall, I wasn't real sure at the time. Scaffolding maybe, again, because I'm not consulting any of the stuff yet. I'm just trying to fucking figure out just from whatever context clues. And yeah, I was having a little bit of fucking uncertainty about where we were supposed to be here. It does have the tokened foreground obfuscation here is some fog action that's going on all over the place, so they're keeping that trend going. And I eventually wandered to a large room with 6 chests. There is also one of the cat creatures, which you didn't play the first one, but you actually get one of these in your party in the first game. I forget what their race is called. What the fuck is it? Did they even tell us in here? I can't remember, but yeah, this was your last party member edition in the first game, and it was fucking a wrecking ball.
Really?
Yeah. These little cats were wrecking balls in the first game, so it was cool. There's not a lot there hasn't been actually a lot. I hadn't thought of that until now, saying that out loud, but there hasn't been a ton of, I don't know, callbacks, connective tissue, whatever, to the first game in this play, or in this game rather. So that was kind of a cool little thing. I mean, you know, when it's done well, tactfully and subtly, that stuff is really fun. And we have already praised Dragon Warrior's newer editions for that at times in the pod history. Yeah, that's cool when they do that well. And I think this is one of those instances where it was done subtly, and you know, they serve this function of like teaching you this one little mechanic that we'll get to, but we're not leaning on them. They're not a huge part. You know, it's not a whole fucking quest line or anything. It's just like a little fucking piece of whatever ambiance almost in the experience that are in the playthrough. That is a nice touch.
It was very interesting to me to like kind of see that all of a sudden, like, whoa, okay, I'm talking to cats. They're talking to me. Like,
well,
all right,
not yet. Not yet.
Eventually.
Right now, not right now. The cat says mew, meow when you speak to it, and that's it. And yeah, once later, and this is, I mean, you know, we'll obviously probably have to talk at length about this mechanic in a bit here, but yeah, I mean, you know, once I got a handle on how this goddamn video game worked, I would learn that it says, you weirdo, when you're wearing the Mojic hat, and that's not helpful either, but it's at least English. And conversely, if you're wearing the Magic hat, MA hat, it says we used to be kept by humans. So
yes,
these things are here to teach us how this incredibly important, if you need information from the video game to tell you where to go and what to do on this planet that we've just landed on, a very important thing to figure out before that would become possible. So it's cool. I like it in hindsight. I was confused as fuck for a long time before I got a handle on it. And like I said, we'll get into more of it here in a bit. But yeah, at first I was just like, what the fuck is the point of these? Like, what's the point?
I feel like it didn't. I feel like it didn't last too long. Maybe just because the direction I went or whatever.
Really?
You know what I mean? I just kind of came in here like, oh, not another freaking dungeon. And then, you know, I found the magic cap. Obviously, put it on immediately, and then started talking to cats. And it was
so you locked into yeah. I mean, is this one?
I don't remember if I actually ran into a cat before. I don't think so.
Yeah, you get them both here. So yeah, it's a total random chance of whether or not you're going to have success purely based on playing with your new stuff that you find here. So that's not great. It's the 50-50 shot of whether or not you're going to be totally confused or like, oh, okay. So yes, there are chests here. Like I said, one of them has an old newspaper. And this reads, the cause of the gas leak turned out to be a simple mistake. And there are two others, actually. Sorry, 3 papers. The other ones read, the gas has leaked out. The gas that leaked out could be extremely dangerous. Please beware. And then the other one reads, the last rescue ship leaves on August 11th. Don't miss it. That's just a week before my birthday, so grand.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then there's 5600 Meseta, a Mojic cap, and a Magic cap to round out the Loot Crate offerings here. And yes, so these both only provide a +2 defense bump, so you're clearly not equipping them for that benefit. And that's actually the lowest defensive add in the entire game. And they can only be equipped by the agent. So not only are you nerfing someone to wear one, you're nerfing the character who gets the most shit in battle. Yep. So, yeah, not a lot of reason to just put it on and see what happens. You know what I mean? I guess is my point. So, and yes, they must have some special use case. I immediately was able to, you know, fucking connect those dots, and that would prove correct. And yeah, well, I have my reservations about how this mechanic plays out. It was at least semi-reasonable, I suppose, of them to give you both at the same time.
Yep. To
at least, like, it's yes, if you don't think, like, oh, I'm going to try them all out right now, which I didn't, so whatever, maybe I'm the idiot. But they're at least given to you at the same time, so you know that they're connected, or there's some suggestion that they're connected in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, you know, you might never fucking have any fucking clue what purpose these have.
Exactly.
But yeah, I did not think to use these to talk to the cats on my first trip. That was something I learned by coming back later. There's another room in here with a chest that has the Lacan chest, and this is the best agent body armor in the game. Thank you very much. It's a +80 overall and a +34 over the peasant ceramic armor I was rocking at the time, so that's a great come up. And scoring that, and already having what was the third best sword for Tadorino, the Sword of Ango, it had me, like, that's happening, and I'm thinking, like, oh, like, you know, when we first got into this episode play or whatever, I was very uncertain as to whether or not we just had one episode left. Basically, could we fit the rest of this game in one episode or not? And like that happened, and I was like, oh, fine, 100% confident. And my stance on that wavered a little bit over the course of the play, back and forth, oscillated a little bit. So, it was a comforting thing now, but that would not continue for the entire play. There was some moments of doubt.
I would say based on our text, because they had an effect on how I was playing and very concerned.
Yeah. Well, we have lots to talk about before the end of this fucking episode, I promise you. So then I aimlessly wandered through this, it's all fucking identical looking dungeon, like all of them are, until I couldn't fucking take it anymore and just consulted the hintbook map to get the hell out of here. And frankly, it barely helped. The floor tiles barely line up. Like the floor change tiles, the up-down fucking things, barely line up on the different floors. So even with that, it's kind of like you're still a little bit fucked to get out of here. So that didn't necessarily make it just cake or anything. There is another cache of old newspapers in one of the bunny rooms, or cat rooms rather, and these read, recently there's been many fake magic caps going around. Please be careful. So that's actually, I didn't find these. I think on my first, this was also something I found on coming back later, looking at and just being thorough for podcasting purposes. So if I'd have gotten these, I might have been a little further down the road on that cap bullshit too. So whatever, another mistake of mine, I suppose. The next one reads, why don't you talk to your pet too? Please come to our department store for a magic cap. Clearly that's just like deliberately telling you that's what you got to wear to talk to those. So. And then the last one reads, when you're lonely, the best way to console yourself is to keep a pet. And, would have been good to read those on my first wander through here for sure. I also copped the Garda boots on the way to the Zosa exit, is where I headed. These are the best boots in the game. They are sexist, though, the 4 dudes, and only the 4 dudes can equip them. None of the women can equip these. Just all the dudes, no women. And that's funny to me. They provide 15 defense, 8 agility. Then I gave Todd that bump, which is way fuck better than the plain boots he was rocking, and he can't wear any of the other premium footwear. So there's a handful of other, like the knife boots and shit, that are elevated boot options, but the agent can't wear any of those, so it was kind of logical to give him the Garda boots. Note, I say the Zosa exit, which is the one in the top right quadrant of the third, i.e. bottom. You work your way down to the planet's surface here. Like you start on the top level and work your way down to get through Skir here. Because there are numerous exits, and this is because Skir is how you must traverse between the 4 quadrants of the Dezo overworld map. Mountains obstruct travel by foot. So you can unlock fast travel shit with the subways later to take some of the pain in the ass out of that, but your initial treks to all 4 quadrants will require going through this shit fuck place of
multiple times
of a map, right? And that was not pleasant at all. And honestly, it colored my entire in-game experience, which we did discuss for sure in our thread. Not wanting to go through Skir literally was an impediment to playing this game the right way. It's that unpleasant of an experience and that much of a pain in the ass that I didn't want to do something that would have probably been, or not probably, would absolutely have been an immensely better idea for tackling the end of this game than what I just went with because I didn't want to deal with Skir. So
yeah, and honestly, for me, it wasn't until later in the game when we're like really going in game that I would come back through here, and I'm just like, I wonder if I can just Ryuka Highness myself out of here. And I was able to, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. But not until like later.
To get back so you could do that.
To get to one of the other towns so I could just like zip to a different town or something.
Right, but I'm saying, because Highness takes you to the last place you saved.
Right.
So I guess, yeah, are you saying that you were able to do that from Paseo?
No. So like once I flew from Paseo to here, to Skir, and it was like, I don't want to like navigate out of here again.
I didn't even think defense test that. I wonder what happens if
from there I was able to like go out and like to right but
just go out
Zosa
anywhere.
or.
But even honestly, to get to any exit though is not pleasant. So, but I guess you're saying you could just go out. You could just use the other one to leave the Skir entirely. Okay, and you're just outside wherever. Got it. So yeah, that's great. But yeah, I wonder what that's a great experiment that I'm not gonna do.
Yeah,
well, actually,
I don't know if you could do that from the beginning when you haven't like been out yet. Like that feels.
Well, no,
like
no, you definitely can't do it from the beginning. But I'm saying, okay, so you go through here, you save in one of the towns, then you go back through Skir and go to Paseo. I wonder if from Paseo. I mean, I guess all you got to do is to get on the plane and come back into here, and then you're fucking warp out. So really, it's irrelevant. But I would just be curious to know what happens if even on another planet, when you do the warp back to your save point, if it'll take you all the way to Dezo. You'd think. I mean, I don't see. I don't. I can't think of a great reason to make those different, but that would be.
I don't think it does. I will say this: I don't think it does, and I'll hold off on the reason why until we talk about it later. But for reasons we'll talk about later, I don't think it works.
Okay, I look forward to your hypothesis. So whichever exit you fucking wander into from Skir, you are on the Dezo Overworld map, and when you get out here, it's a winter wonderland. There's snow everywhere, and like I said, I went to Zosa first. We're just going to talk through all 3 towns, so if you didn't, that's irrelevant, I guess. But do you remember which town you went to first, by chance?
Zosa. Yeah, I made it to Zosa first. Because I ended up going east, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Zosa is tucked in a valley to the northeast, in the northeast quadrant. By the time I got over there, both Sheer and Codsworth were dead. So like I said, I was fucking on my last leg wandering.
Wait, you had Sheer all this time?
Yeah, I had the thief. Yeah, I had the thief. I tell you, we had a whole conversation about that. She was totally my speed.
Fighting with one arm behind your back, man.
Well, yeah. It was, dude.
Anyway, yeah, this is that kind of helps.
I did not have optimal party composition at any point in this episode play. I am uber cognizant of that.
Okay.
So I bring Sheer back to life here, and she's still poisoned, and that's why she died. And we haven't talked about the poison status yet, and I'm guessing it must be just around now that it can start happening because you asked about it at some point in our thread too. So I'm guessing you hadn't experienced it until around now as well.
No, I definitely had. My only problem,
really?
My only thing was later than now, I remove Amy from the game.
Oh, did she have a poison?
But she has
spell?
She has poison stuff. So
yeah, see, I never had the doctor, so I was always, like I said, when this would happen, load. Fuck off.
I wasn't, and to this point, I'm not save scumming like that. Like, I'm honestly just like,
I mean, I'm not doing a ton of it, but when something dumb like that happens.
Like, because I had Amy, I was just like, all right, cure, heal, antidote, whatever you need. Like, it was great. Like, I was just living life.
Yeah. No, I never. It didn't even occur to me that she had it. Yeah, that's fucked. So yeah. Anyways, the point being, we haven't discussed exactly how this works and the way poison works, which I've never seen in a game in my life, and it is so fucking punitive. You can't heal them. You cannot heal. They can't drink potions. I don't believe they definitely can't get healed by spells, and so they're just on a fucking linear trajectory to death, basically, unless you cure this antidote. And yes, no one else has antidote magic other than the doctor. And I don't think I could find it. I don't think there were any antidote potions on this fucking planet that I could find to buy. I think I'd go back to Paseo or whatever. I didn't have any for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, whenever this happened, I would just load because it was so punitive and such bullshit. And obviously just completely random. As far as when it would happen in the battles, so seldom too. It's like, I mean, thankfully, I guess maybe I shouldn't be criticizing that, but yeah, it just very frustrating and like an incredibly punitive thing if you do not have a solution for it on hand immediately. So, yeah.
I did have that one moment though, for sure. Because I did swap Amy out, bring the record to get him all leveled up and all that stuff. Because when we left the last episode, I still had Amy, and now I switched to the record. So there was a point where that happened, and I was like. I started skimming through the hint book, and I was like, son of a bitch. We're all back on Paseo. I got to go back, like if I don't find some kind of way to heal myself,
right?
Obviously you can cure yourself in the town, but like,
I was
just like, what?
Yeah, exactly. You can go to the clown dude's thing, and he has, that's one of the options. Or maybe it is the doctor, whatever. You can do it in town, but clearly that's not any help out in the field, so. Yeah. So taking stock of my travel options on the Dezo map on the pack-in cartography here, I noted there were way more POIs than I was thinking there would be. / hoping there would be on this planet. So again, talking about that oscillation between hope and not of how close we were to the end. Noticing that was one of the negative flips emotionally. So Zosa Town, I think coming in here, it's funny to me. Like I said, I'm walking in. I got 2 dead characters. I'm on my last leg, basically. So the data memory hut is right there at the entrance. The only building outside of the city walls. So it's just like, oh my god! Like such a sight for sore eyes. Like if you're playing on OG hardware, it's just like, oh my god, yes, please let me save after all that bullshit. Yeah. I do not want to have to do that again. Oh my god, I don't care who's dead. I don't care what we gotta do. Just let me save and not have to do that skewer shit ever again. Is absolutely the vibe I get from that. So you walk in here, and if you have not figured out, well, see, that's the thing. Even if you have, I guess maybe if you put on that hat and you can then understand the fucking little cat dudes, maybe that suggests to you these are language related, and you make the connection. You try it here. I'm curious, I guess, to hear whether you did. But I walk in here, I can't understand these people. Which made perfect sense to me because they do not appear to have much like genetic material. Like they have green skin, all dressed identically in purple tundra garb, clearly a completely different fucking, genetic being. So I didn't expect to be able to understand them, and it didn't I know, they're NPCs in a town. So like at some point, there's got to be some way for these people to be helpful that's how you get your information. I know this without the syntax of, like, if you really role play it, like, you would have no expectation. Like, you fucking travel to another country, you're just like, I'm gonna have to stumble through communication for the next week. Like that, now I got Google Translate, I can do a little bit and show people screens, of things I want,
But you expect that.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen.
Precisely. So that, same thing should apply here, but again, because of the syntax of RPGs, that these people must be mineable for information in some way, shape, or form. So I know something's got to happen, but I'm not making the connection on those fucking caps yet. I presume you did or did not.
So I came in there first, and I was just kind of like, goobity goobity, whatever they're saying, and I'm just like, every person I talk to, so I'm just like, what is going on? And because of the cat thing and because I have 2 of those caps, I was like, let me just try the other one, and I put it on. And then I started talking to somebody, and they said something, and I remember taking note of it, like, whoa, did that Mojic with the capital O change their words? And like, yeah, I looked at the hint book thing, and I was like, it just says learn how to use the magic emoji. Yeah. So I was like,
I was in the hint book for something completely different, and I inadvertently gleaned this has this function. And yeah, man, it's some Bloods and Crips shit. These motherfuckers, if you have the wrong bandana in your back jean pocket, these motherfuckers talk shit to you. They're like, they shop prices are double. Everything everyone tells you is a lie. So yeah, it is fucking pretty wild to me.
What?
Yeah, it's a pretty wild, fun, in hindsight, fun, cool mechanic, I guess, but very outside the box. Like I did not, I played a lot of dumbass old school fucking RPGs, and nothing like that has ever been present in any of them. So and
to your point, like I have the like this game fact guide always as a tab open with just like the different like attributes of different gear and weapons.
Oh
and
man,
stuff
you don't use the PS Cave website for that instead? You go to Game Facts? Oh, that's terrible, Jay. That's terrible.
I have PS Cave. No, I do have PS Cave.
Okay.
For other stuff.
Other stuff.
But like it just happened like that was like the first thing I pulled up. And so I just had that up and open. And yeah, just because of how not great those caps are, like I only had the other one on because of the freaking caps. So it was like, I'm happy to take this off and try something different. And then, I think it's cool the way they did it. To your point, if they had not been set in the same cave, less chance maybe of even trying those, unless you're looking at some kind of guide.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I tried putting them on, and maybe I didn't. I don't remember. I can't recall. Because there obviously is the chance that you're just still wearing it, like you said. If you forget to take it off, which that was what I did think to put it on. That was maybe the most annoying thing about it is I would, and it's not enough of a, the fucking nice good helmet is. It's whatever, like 20 defense difference or something. You're not actually notice it in battle, especially in these fucking battles. Until you're like really grinding on something hard later on in the game. the battles are just like, who cares? Just,
Whatever.
Sure, let it auto go. And thank God it's auto battling. Who cares? So, you're not really even noticing the difference. So you're just walking around at a disadvantage unknowingly, kind of, which doesn't feel good when you do realize it later on. It always feels good to get back to our townsfolk chatter horse. So let's spin through the Zocean ruminations here if you're wearing the correct cap. The Walmart greeter breaks it down for us. He says, we are living in the town that the Palm people abandoned. Another says, homies got such tough bodies. Whoa. He says, we've got such tough bodies. It's unbelievable. And a homie is feeling himself is what I meant to say there. The reason the accident happened on the day of a solar eclipse was because the Palm people didn't pray.
That's a sketchy...
Right. You can't go anywhere without some Yahoo zealot trying to get you to do a Dianetics test or something. That's
always on the corner, man. No, I will not come in.
I don't want to fucking join your thing, man. Get out of here. The Palm people were afraid of poison gas, but it can't do anything to us. Hey, you don't look familiar. Where are you from? The Palm people were punished because they didn't take good care of the eclipse torch. And it's best to live lazily with hunting like this. And that's it. So you go through all these, there's no POI direction provided here at all. And that makes me think, oh fuck, I'm going to have to just wander. Shit. It's just pretty tough. There is commerce to be done here, at least. Some beneficial, or immediately beneficial opportunities presented by the municipality. I had over 200k Meseta walking in here, because it took me forever to get through Skur. Money was no object for anything sold here. The shopkeepers look like the people outside, but they have the same condescending dialogue as the moto merchants, calling you ace and what have you.
Right? Later ace.
So nothing new there. The armor shop has some pro-feminism boots, the Long and the Shun, for 6,800 and 7,500. The Shun boots are for Sheer, the thief, for sure, and... A lot of alliteration there. Same +7 on defense as normal boots, but are +4 more to agility. And then Dime Piece, my Guardian, can rock both of these. The Long are Guardian only, but I didn't see why you'd trade the +2 agility that those provide over the knife boots to lose the +7 attack that the knife boots offer.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting.
I kept the knife boots on Dime Piece. And they have some of the lesser Lakon armor set. They have the Met, which is a head deal, the Niche and Cape, which are body coverings, and the ML, which is the kind of like lesser shield, or lighter shield maybe. And the Niche is for the Hunter and the Wrecker, a +5 for the Krista model Codsworth had. The crystal, I guess is what that means. And then the Cape is Guardian only. It's a +14 over the ceramic cape that she had, so that's a please yes. And the Met is the best headwear for the Hunter and the Biologist. So I'm presuming you'd know the Biologist, but you had the Hunter still, right?
Oh yeah. I grinded outside of Zosa for all of this gear for everybody. At this point, it's Agent, Hunter, the Wrecker, and of course Frost, my Anna.
Anna, what's that?
She's I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, what is she called? I don't know what she's called. Like, what is she called?
The blue one? The blonde?
Yeah,
girl?
the blue one. Yeah.
Blonde girl. Okay, yeah. The Guardian.
Yeah.
All right.
She was awesome, man. At the end of the game, she ends up like level 30, just doing like 200 plus damage.
The two slashers, the Nia slasher and the fucking whatever the other one is. Yeah, very cool.
Just
boomerangs. Yeah.
Although,
whatever. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
There's a weapon shop, and it's got the best gun in the game for the Hunter, other than the Neh shot. And it's for 48k, the Pulse Vulcan. And then the Laconian Mace is 16.8k. The Pulse Vulcan, I bet.
Yeah, it's so good.
I bet it was really fun to have the best guns in the game.
Dude, it was a double shot. Oh yeah, because you didn't have him, huh?
No,
dude, you're missing out.
Couldn't use
like.
Oh, Jay, I know.
That seemed like why would you get rid of this dude? Like, what are we even talking about? Like, I know.
Got to make decisions, man. That's what this. Well, not to criticize, but that's one of the things this game does. Is it makes you make decisions and with real, tangible consequences, and it at least to me,
yes,
not obvious what the answers were until you're having the consequence for your decision dumped onto your head at some point. So that is one thing to its credit for sure. Is it again, real decisions have to be made.
Yes.
And there's enough of them. It's a wide enough array of options where there's plenty of wrong ones or plenty of ones that maybe are not best, at least for what you're going to be doing. So
Fair.
seeing the Laconian Mace here, it's a one-hander that the biologist and the wrecker can use, and it does 40 damage. So I got Codsworth, my wrecker, out of the gun game at this point. He had been on the laser shot up to this point, and I dual wielded the maces.
Yep.
And
so was mine.
I don't know, were you... By this time I had the storm gear. I'd already, I have all these items that I'm using at this point. So I had the storm gear, and I'm using storm gear pretty much all the time. So like pretty very not long after this, I gave him a shield. I did this, I unequipped this dual wielding thing, as cool as it is, because in most cases, the storm gear would do more damage anyways. So, and that doesn't even have to be equipped, obviously. It's just fucking... Well, I think he does...
no. You were using it as an item?
Right, yeah.
Oh.
It casts the spell Gizon, which is like the second level of the Zon spell family. So, yeah, especially against robots, I believe. I think that's the one that goes for the robots, maybe. Whatever. Most of the time, it did more damage than attacking anyways. So, I would very quickly decide that it's better to up his defense with a shield than it would be to be able to dual wield these fucking things. So,
interesting. I now I'm like taking a look at that. Like, what was that?
I was using that. Yeah, I also had a storm gear.
Yeah,
My thief had a storm gear that I used rather than her attacks as well. So she had some daggers or something that were fucking useless. So using the storm gear, I had a second one for her, was also my attack method most of the time. Which is, by the end of the, that's the thing too, but, because of what I chose and because there were so many offensively nerfed participants, I just even doing battles that I had to pay attention to and actually strategically do the most damage in, for grinding purposes, was more of a headache for me because I had to go to the item and fucking use the item. And I had to go and do that each time.
Yeah.
And I also was the shear, I would also do, what was it? She had something that would cast the shield spell. And I forget what it is at the time. Maybe I will say it later, but in my notes, but yeah, I would, start the battle, have her do that, and it would do that shield thing for everyone. And then I had to switch her over to the storm gear. And so I had to do two different things. I couldn't even set it and forget it for a battle,
Interesting.
So yeah, just a lot of fucking work to grind because of the party
Interesting.
I had.
Yeah, at this point, I'm, my agent slashing stuff, my hunter, with that pulse Vulcan, it's shooting two things at a time. So it's blasting this one and this one if there's multiple. And then Frost, she's coming in with the double slash. And so everybody... I'm grinding to get the wrecker leveled up, so that when he sees robots, he can go to town. And he's, so my whole goal is really just leveling him up while everybody else is actually just doing massive damage. So I'm good right now. I just hope something big doesn't come and hit me, because then I gotta just use trimates.
Do some healing, right?
Yeah, I'm stocking trimates whenever I go anywhere now, just because I don't have Amy,
I did eventually stack a bunch of trimates. I didn't. That's another dumb thing. Late game, but I was doing that. I would have those because obviously you need those to heal outside the thing if you don't want to burn an EMP. And I didn't have any big healers anyways. The agent has a nice heal spell, I think, but you don't want to burn that, of course, because he's also got some big swinging dick attack spells that you want to have available to you. So yeah, I had all those items that each, the whole healing thing, everyone had a healing item too. So that's great, but you also have to go, one, you have to be ahead of the game, because you're going to use it at some point in the next turn, and they might take more damage before you go again, and blah, 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 blah. So there's that math computation, which I actually kind of enjoy, doing that, and it gives me something to fucking pay attention to, and these mind-numbing things. But it is more work, as far as just, clicking the fucking shit. So, pros and cons, I guess, to that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I will say this on that point. When we're at Zosa and I'm grinding for the gear to buy at Zosa and then moving on from there, not quite yet, but as we kind of get to the end of things and I'm kind of grinding, I am everybody has a healing item, just like you said. But I found out, like, based on the level that I was at and the math, I could really just focus on one person using that item and like healing themselves up, and everybody else just attack. And I could generally get that person healed completely up and get out of the battle completely fine. Next battle, all right, this person's the lowest. Have them use their thing. Everybody else.
That's a good.
I was able to actually like
well.
consistently like keep myself healed until like a boss. So I'm like, wow, this is actually
same for me. Yeah, when that's why I was able to do the end of the game the way I was, because I was able to grind basically in front of the final boss. No, there's nothing a spoiler about that. For eons, because I didn't need to use any MP to stay healed. I was able to just there's depending on, I did so much of it that like depending on what battle I got into, I had a strategy for like, and like when I would want to take a crack at the final boss, I of course would want everyone healed walking into that. So for that, like I would like wait till I got into a certain fight against a certain enemy that I knew I could fucking basically just fucking do exactly that. Like I only needed to have one thing hitting it and just make everyone else is healing the whole time. And it's a character that's not getting hit most of the time anyways, that is doing the attacking and not healing. So like, yeah, it was really easy or not really easy, but it was really possible, I suppose, to self-sustain that way and like come up with different little strategies for what your goal was and how to use those items for sure. That was one of the maybe funner parts of the end thing too, is just devising those systems. But again, just a lot of busy work, of course, to do that sort of thing. And I did not have the offensive capability. That was fun. The flip side of it, also a problem. So the AC Slasher is here in the weapon shop in Zosa as well. This is a Guardian-only one-hander deal that hits all enemies in a group. And it's a plus 42 damage per. So yeah, I dual wielded those with her at this time. And then there are 3 things on the antiquated store shelf that are just filler. There's Boomerang, a ceramic sword, and the acid shot. And so this whole area, like I said, they divide the whole map up into 4 quadrants conveniently by mountain ranges that you can't get through. So there's only so much to do in this quadrant, and the only way to get to the other quadrants is to go through the fucking scare again. So, I exhausted my options exploration-wise before even thinking about taking that on again. And yeah, it didn't really seem like there was anything else to do here. I'm looking on the map, the pack-in map, it looked like there was a POI of some kind in the northwest of this quadrant, but I went up there and I didn't see shit. So I was like, well, I don't know who this fucking stupid hint book or stupid-ass fucking pack-in map is full of shit or something, or there must be something I have to do. So next town, basically. So you go back through Sker, and the one I worked my way to next was Ryuon, or however you pronounce that. This is a little community tucked away in the southeast corner of the map, and the spaceport exit to the area is semi-correspondingly on the south side. It kind of is where it is on the overworld map as far as how the Sker map relates to the overworld map. And then you have to cramp on quite a ways east from there to when you come out of the spaceport exit. You walk into this town, and it's like a balanced layout deal where the data memory is in a paved enclosure you first enter into, and then there are shops to the east and west of that on each side of town. And it still has like a rural feel to it, I think. These first 2 kind of had like, I don't know, outskirts of civilization vibes to them, not like bustling metropolis, So the townsfolk chatter here. I saw 2 spaceships crashing into each other 10 years ago. Intense. I heard the poison gas came from the mine. And the grandma of the clone lab stayed here because she likes us. That's a WTF. I feel like they keep, it must be a translation thing or something. They call that clone lab clown dude grandma in a few places here. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm like, I think like, are you just trying to throw me off? Like, what are we talking about?
I think, to me, it's just got to be a translation. And I actually I stumbled across something later that suggests that I couldn't go back and fact check every instance of like confusing dialogue thing to be sure if that is, whatever the answer to all this. But I did find something later that suggests that there is a lot of just copywriting things that are not consistent and or right. Sure. So, and there's something you can do to fix that in your gameplay. There's a mod out there for it. So I think that's got, again, grandma, just there. I don't know. There's just no way that's what that's supposed to read. So that's fucking weird. And then there's lots of talking shit about your mother brain here. We have, do you people in Moda still believe in you people? In Mother Brain. And if people keep depending on Mother Brain, they're going to just come to an end. And then the last one, we don't trust no Mother Brain.
Dude.
Yeah.
The funniest thing for me is that I came to Rayuan as the last of the towns.
Okay.
So, like, out of everything else that I heard, getting here and having people kind of ask, like, do people at Moda still believe in Mother Brain? And it kind of tied everything together. I was just like, whoa, okay, this is, okay, all right, this is interesting.
I was going to ask I don't, like, you know how I fucking go through this game. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff, like, I mean, I guess the mines or those buildings is what they're talking about, right? That's got to be what those are, because there is no mine.
Well, this is the way I thought of it. Somewhere in the hint book, way at the beginning, they talked about, like, people giving you, like, just irrelevant information and stuff. So, like, if anything like that just didn't connect, I just tossed it. Like, I don't know what that means, whatever. Like, I didn't even take notes on some of those some of those things that didn't really seem to connect to anything else. Okay. You know what I mean? And kind of just went with the overall picture. Like, okay, out of 12 comments, 8 of them are going to be
are relevant to my...
Yeah, you know, for real.
Which is probably a pretty good ratio. If you walk around life and 66% of the people say something that's useful to you, that's a pretty good ratio.
Somebody else just randomly like, oh, the cat's on the east garden. Right. You're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, the spaceship shit 100% ties in when we get to the mansion. That is what that's all about. So that's relevant for sure. But yeah, the mine stuff, I'm not sure. It's the Grandmouth part of it's weird, but the Clone Lab remark is about the whole thing of, you know, the Paseoans came here, tried to, you know, exploit the fucking place and did a shitty job of overseeing it while they did that, and they went away, and that's kind of a touch on that, so that's relevant too. But okay, so yeah, so the next thing of importance is, can such a building exist? It's there, but you can't see it or touch it. And that, of course, is like,
I bolded that. I was like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the POI. That's why I can't see the POI, whatever the fuck that means. So me, again, not having figured out the cap shit yet, I'm like, maybe the caps allow you to see these things that are hidden otherwise. So I take my we'll get there in a second, but yeah, I took my dumb ass straight to the fucking building, and I'm putting on caps where it's supposed to be on the map, and doesn't do shit, of course. So yeah, fucking that was proof that I was not fucking following the bouncing ball at this time at all. But that's clearly very important in some way, shape, or form, just to let you know that yes, the thing is there at least. Yep. I don't like no palm people. I'd say it's bad to make a big hole on my planet. I'm with you, dude. And the next one reads or says, oops, I fell asleep walking. So yeah, there's all this shit about them being lazy all the time, or like, I don't know, I guess it's not even lazy, they're just like overly content, you know? Yeah. Even though it seems like a fucking wasteland. So I think they're just trying to juxtapose, like, these people live differently, different things are important to them, they're just very different people, you know what I mean? I think that's the idea with all those remarks, so. Yeah, I mean, the next one. It's so darn hot today, you know? It's like they're in fucking parkas. You know, like. The Palm people came to Dezo to mine Laconia, which explains why you get all your Laconian shit here. Yeah. Also cool to kind of give it whatever meaning. And then, so yeah, chatting them up, if you're wearing the wrong bandana in your back pocket, gets mostly one of two decorations. The first one is, we are Dezo people, the best men in Algo, and we don't ever lie. I don't know.
Very interesting that you felt the need to tell me that.
Right, exactly.
Nice to meet you.
Fuck it. Yeah, exactly. So yes, there is oodles of Laconia-centric commerce to be had here in the Ye Old Armor Shop. This place has that hot shit for sure. They have the Nye-only ribbon, which is odd considering Nye is long dead if you're on Dezo. So,
right. What are you doing?
Jay? I don't know. Let's wait for that. Whatever. I guess you could say, and it's insane to me if this is the actual answer, that it's just there to lead you on and think that Nia's coming back into the story.
Right? Like,
you know
she's going to come back at some point? Like,
right. Which there have been multiple instances
thing.
of that where I'm like, that's got to be what's happening. You know, that's got to
Right.
be what that means. And that's got to be where this is going. And if they went this far, because here's the thing. You don't even, it's not like you can see in game who can equip what. You just have to
look it up or
right.
know.
Well,
or
that's
try.
what I mean. You have to
Or
look
try
it
to
up.
buy it
And like,
then,
I guess I don't know off the top of my head, and I'm not going to do the work to look, but my presumption is that is not on that chart. That's the pack-in deal. So the only way to know this is to do some like advanced, I guess the hint book. Does the hint book even have that? I don't know if the hint book even has who can wear what.
No, it does not.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's why I had to look elsewhere.
Right. So it's not. The equipment is kind of only like the starter pack stuff on the pack-in map. The chart that has the equipment side, it has all the spells, but it doesn't have all equipment. And that's why it has those areas you can write your own shit in, which is cool. But so there's not even any way to get this information that only that character can equip it without elevated fucking knowledge beyond anything that they're providing as lore documents for you to work from. So I almost think that disqualifies that possibility. It's not like it's, they give you this little fucking whatever breadcrumb and, go through your pack-in materials and like connect those dots and get that misleading information. Like there's not like, I just can't come up with a reason why it's there. I cannot come up with a reason why this exists.
I can easily. Like we're giving it too much credit. Like, because we play the game and it would seem like maybe Nate's going to come back based on everything, especially once we have to go pick up Nate weapons later. You're just like, okay, like I also
her
like the Voltron sword.
that's what I thought.
But again, I think honestly we're giving it too much credit. I think this is simply.
Oh man.
I think it's simply like every other shop that has like 3 or 4 good items and 1 or 2 whack items from the beginning. They're just like picking sprinkling some old stuff in there, and that's all they did here. They just like hot shit. It's almost like there's a maximum. I know it's not that. I know it can't be that, but it's almost like there's a maximum.
Oh wait,
value
it's only like, 80. It is a whack. I was thinking it was an elevated thing. 80 it did. So yeah, I'm sorry, I misread my.
And
own
like
dumb
the only
note.
other thing we can have.
So it is an
like
early game weapon that probably is on the chart. That probably is meant to just mislead you. Then okay. Yeah, because if it is from when you actually have Nia, then I'm sure it is on that chart, and you would see that it's Nia only, and you would be able to connect the dots errantly that you could potentially get that and give it to her.
Such a misdirection.
Yeah.
By the way,
interesting.
Side note: this whole game, like, oh, Nia's gonna come back. Like,
well, yeah, I was just gonna say,
keep talking about her. Why are the weapons named after her?
Sega must have really fucked up to have you making the nihilistic suggestion there. That's what I would say. that Sega really must have fucking shat the bed here in some way, shape, or form if they got you fucking thinking of the most negative, stripped down possibility for.
It's like, oh, my little sister died, and guess what? We got to bring her weapons back. I'm like, wait, what are we doing? You know what I mean? You really think about it. It's like, interesting choice.
Yeah. But other than that, it's all very expensive fire here in the armor shop. We have the Lacanish for 35k, the Lacan chest for 28k, some more Garda boots, that best boot in the game for the other characters that can use them. The Lacan Amel and the Lacan shield, which is the better of those two things. And that's when I dropped that on Codsworth. The shield, I also got in the Garda boots. You can use those. And the chest is agent only, and I scored it for free out of the spaceport, so fortuitously saved that 28k, which is nice. And the weaponry outfitter also has Laconia Heat. They have some bullshit you'd never want here in the knife and laser slasher, as well as some hunter-only guns you'd be real pissed if you bought instead of the Pulse Vulcan and Zosa. So, that's the fuck thing, too, is like you can, I did it myself. I mean, like I said, I bought the second mace and then fucking bought the shield at the next town. So, there's a lot of that here, because you just... Yeah, I mean, there's no way you're not just going to all 3 of these towns before you do anything at the mansion, really, I think. So... It's a little bit fucked, I think, that, there's no indication that maybe you should take stock on what your options are and then spend the money.
That's interesting, though, man, because at this point, Like, I went Zosa, Akuba, then Ryuan. But either way, yeah, you're right. I'm basically taking a look at the shop, seeing what's there.
Buying everything. Grinding and buying everything.
All the stuff.
Yep.
And then moving on to the next, however path through Skira takes me to the next town. And by the time I get the Ryuan, I grind up to level 24 so I can buy all of the things in there. And but for me, I'm anti-shield. So like I make it through all of these towns, there's no shields on anybody. I am dual weapons on the people who can have dual weapons.
I get it. I get it. Like I said,
so
if I had shifted to the item thing and had that clearly, especially you have a much more offensively minded party, so that's clearly a core competency of your outfit. That is not the core competency of my outfit. So if I'm like, these people aren't attacking anyways, I might. It's not like I was like, ooh, I want more defense. It was just like, I have this completely useless component. Why bother to try to like take it from a fucking 2 to a 4 out of 10? You know, like what's the fucking point? You just don't want to do it. So that is why I was shielding up people.
Yeah,
because I would also use for Sheer. She had like under the truth sleeves or something. I forget. There's some sort of item that is
that's her
a big defensive hand thing. That's her healer, right? No, but she has something instead of dual wielding with her that I was able to equip that helped defense because I originally had to.
Oh, fire staffs, I think.
Something I don't fucking remember, but
yeah, I think that's what it was.
No, yeah, I did have the true sleeves do sleeves. Harms. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I had those equipped. Those are 59 defense. So, that was a...
But also, like, if you were able to, I know I had the fire staff in one hand because that gives you also 11 defense on top of being able to just, cast Foy as well.
Right.
So, I know one of the guides I saw had recommended dual wielding that. I did not do that, but I used one of them.
Well, again, this is for my thief, so she can only use knives. She probably can't even use staves, in all honesty. She was like heavily nerfed on the offensive front, and the true sleeves add like an insane amount of defense, 59. It's probably more than any other piece of equipment she's able to equip. I would guess actually, as far as how much it adds. So,
I hadn't even used the thief at this point. She was hanging out of my house, just chilling on the couch.
Well, here's the thing: if you're playing OG, that would have been a huge hindrance to you because she's the only way you can get the Vizio phone, which is the way you save out in the field.
Oh. I would eventually get her. We'll get there.
Okay.
But I would get her for a short period of finite time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, that's a perfect example. Like she is fucking. Well, there's a thing like there's just a lot. And this game is a lot. It incredibly complex for the time. Maddeningly frustrating a lot of the time because of how much there is and the inability to like. Even begin to think that all that stuff's there, and to try it, and even with these fucking hitbook, I still.
I still had to look up stuff like I need assistance. Where I'm going right now.
Right, exactly. So yeah, it's like so many of these old games. They're doing their best, and there's cool things that they're trailblazing on, but it doesn't all fit together perfectly for sure. Anyhow, the sword that's available here, the Laconian sword, is the second best option in the game for Tadorino, and it both adds 8 attack over the Sword of Ango and gets some defense in there, 14. That was totally nixed when we jumped from that, we bumped to that from the laser sword. We bumped to the Sword of Ango from the laser sword, I mean. So no brainer on acquiring this, and logically I wanted to sell the Ango sword, but I was scared that it might have some narrative use just because it was something we found. And I wasn't entirely confident in that. And when I tried to sell it, the guy only offered me 140 Macetas. So I was like, oh, fucking just hang on to this.
That's whack.
Just to be safe. That was also that game. That's kind of like a little bit of like RPG syntax too, that the resale value on priceless items will sometimes be like a stupid ass amount of money. And I feel like it's almost a suggestion that you're not supposed. That's why they don't incentivize you to sell.
Well, that, or even it might just say, "Oh, I've never even seen this before. I don't have a price on that," and you can't sell it. It's like, all right, I guess I'll just keep that one.
Right.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, that's a great RPG. That's a great role play for sure as an answer. But either way, I view it as just like Again, just like the math behind the fucking... So then I set out to crack the nut on the Goron POI north of Ryun with my newfound hypothesis of magic mojic cap switcheroo. Still wasn't there, basically. It's the simplest way to say it. So I would just, okay, fuck it, last town then. I guess nothing to do now still. So go to the last town. And that's Akuba for me, or Akba. And this is the one in the easternmost part of the northwest quadrant. I guess it's probably the most well-kept looking in town of the three here on Dezo. Still not a sprawling metropolis by any length, but just looked nice. And the townsfolk chatter here. When I went to the other side of the crevice, I saw a beautiful man there. And I can't read the word crevice without thinking crevasse and Bear Grylls. So I cannot do it. Every time I see the word crevice, I think of Bear Grylls saying crevasse. So from now on, that's what I'm going to say. Even when it says crevice here. And one of the peeps here says, "We hate computers." And yeah, clearly I'm thinking, well, what about fucking mainframes? How do you feel about those? And we ain't going to leave this planet no matter what. It's such a surprise to see a human other than the clone lab grandma. See, again, that's like, they're like, this is not a one-off. They are like, grandma. That's what they call it. I mean, I kind of like the idea. It's, I don't know, man. Like, I think you could maybe get there and think it's just like an endearing matriarchal figure in their lives. And like, of all the Paseoans, he's kind enough to like, assuming looks a little male identifying and like just his facial structure and shit up, I guess, whatever, who knows.
Especially aliens.
Especially, well, the Paseoans aren't though. They're saying that he's a Paseoan that's stuck, he's the only Paseoan that stuck around after they vacated. That's what the other cat that brought.
Well, the grandma is not the beautiful man on the other side of the crevice.
No. It's the clone lab guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that guy stuck around when all the other Paseoans left. All of them, I guess. Which is weird, of course. Maybe just like, maybe you have to, maybe like it doesn't show it to you, but maybe it is just one dude. And he has to fly around, like you set an appointment, and then he has to come into the office. It's like, I just got my colonoscopy, and like the guy, I was able to do the referral over here in Playa, but I had to go to Santa Monica to get the procedure done. You got to come to his office on his own. Like he does the procedures on Wednesdays and Tuesdays in the afternoons in Santa Monica. You can get an appointment down here to just talk to him. So like maybe he has different offices basically. So maybe it is just the one, and they call him all. That's why he's grandma. He's very well to do. He's got the business on lock here, the clone lab shit. He's got it on lock. So that's probably why they're clearly not thinking of that. But that's probably why he's so nice to them, because he is just fucking got a monopoly on the shit here. So of course he loves all these people. He's in a position of power, both economically and just like it's a medical need, which is the most the most easily exploited business there is, because it's need. It's like life or death need that you provide as a service. So. Lot there. Anyways, yeah, the next one says, "I wonder why that guy hiding on this planet never ages." And so again, they're questionable. This beautiful man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the big thing from that is it's like, okay, like POI, I need to find that. That is my next goal.
Where's that dude?
I've been struggling to find any of this kind of information. POI provided information in the first two towns, so that was good. They say people. Why can't I say that word? They say people who are hiding on this planet have strange power. And there's another one that says, "Long darn time ago, I heard that someone run away from Palm to this planet. Dezo is all ours. We feel so darn better that those Palm people left. And hey you came over from that crevasse?" Moving on to commerce, the weapon shop here is totally useless if you've been to the other towns and outfitted yourself appropriately with their offerings. The armor shop, also mostly useless except for the Herza boots for 9.8k, and this is the best footwear for the dock, which would have been helpful for you if you had not made that switch, I suppose. But
yep.
Also took me getting here for it to dawn on me that I could get around. This is when I thought to myself, I can fucking subway to these different towns from now on. I don't have to go through Skur. So that was a nice little light bulb go off here. And that's except for the southwest quadrant can't be gotten to because there's no town there. So to get to the Nahar POI, if we're ever able to figure out how to get into those or find them or see them, you're going to have to go through Skur to do that no matter what. The only option then, because you still can't see any of those fucking towers, is the crevasse. And so if you look at the map, the pack-in map, this is part of the problem too. I'm looking at the map. I'm like, okay, the reason I keep going to the towns is because like I see the POIs that I can't see in the game, and I see the towns. I don't see anything. I see the mansion, but I don't see anything else. And like clearly the mansion is blocked off. There's no way to get to that. So I'm like, searching the map, can't figure it out. I finally noticed like it's like kind of poorly fucking labeled because it's like on the blue water. You can't really read it, But there is something there labeled the crevasse or crevice. So yeah, I mean, the only reason I thought to look that hard enough to see it on the map is because they talked about it a million times in these towns. So yeah, that could have been labeled a little better perhaps, and I wouldn't have had to wander these towns so aimlessly for so long.
Yeah, it was like, all right, clearly I gotta go to the crevice. How do I get there?
How do I get into it? Yeah, I poked around the edges until I just basically accidentally fell in. Like, the only opportunity is on the southeast corner of it, and there is a slight differentiation to how the pixels look. Like, maybe it could be construed as ice steps, but it's not at all obvious by any length. So, you go down into here, and, first thought is, oh, fuck, thank God, finally I'm in business. Like, something is happening, thank God. Some actual narrative progress that feels good. And it's an ice cave down here, as you'd expect, and it's pretty easy to get up above ground on the other side. But this easily accessed area that the exit to is on the same level that you go in on is useless. There are 0 POIs here. It's just a dead end, basically. And that is because there's a stairway downward that you pass by on the way to that exit. And that is what you were actually looking for in here. So I circled back and checked that out, and this is how you get into the maze of this cave, and it didn't take me long to feel like there was no way forward, so I tapped Mike's RPG PS Cave for the map on this to get through it. And yeah, it's total fucking runaround bullshit, bouncing between floors, all the, again, just all the dungeons is just so bad in this game. So bad, and there's just nothing satisfying about them. They all look exactly like there's just no effort for visual variance. They suck. They suck. Yeah, there's just no effort to make them visually interesting. And this is a 16-bit endeavor, early one, albeit, but still, it's a 16-bit endeavor. And there are, the Dragon Warrior caves suck too. They're like but even the first one, yes, they're all exactly the same. There's literally just 2 tiles. There's the fucking gray fucking blocks and the brick tiles. So those dog shit for sure. Although I would say even there, the Dragonlord Castle, they took care to make that, like the boss level of that interesting with the water. And it's honestly one of the cooler visual things on the system, I think, when you first go into there, because it's just so, every tile in the game basically is fucking found there. So even that there's a little something going on. And then Dragon Warrior 2, they add water and there's things that make like the caves and the castles are different. There's like some level of effort. And again, that's 8-bit, so it shouldn't even be on the same judgment fucking tier, And here there's nothing. It's nothing different about any of them. They each one has like that, the one tile that's like a unique thing about it, or the one sprite rather, like the labs had those little fucking tanks of things, but it's just another way to make a wall, and there's a million of them, so it's just, Final Fantasy for sure had the dungeons for that, the Mars, like all very different, and it's not just blocky fucking grids, just terrible. The dungeons in this are terrible. So yeah, I was like, fuck you, and just looked at the map, and that's how I got through here. Coming out of the crevasse, we now have Espa Mansion in our crosshairs, and the exterior is reminiscent of a mosque. It's like a domed building with minarets on each side of it, and the inside follows suit with a heavenly air to it. There's a blue and white color scheme going on, fog clouds as the foreground layer, a bunch of identical dudes in shawls standing completely still, real creepy-like, about the joint, and the entryway has a couple of these cult members blocking it when you walk in, and they say, "You must be Todd. We've been expecting you." It's the pattern. Both of them say the same thing, and the other 6 dudes say the following: "The glorious man who used to fight to save Algo is buried here. This man told us that he would awaken when you arrive. This man was put into cold sleep in order to watch over the future of Algo. When Mother Brain came, this man decided to hide in Dezo. This man wakes up once every 10 years. Spaceship crashing moment commentary from the one guy in whatever town that was. And we have been working for him since many generations ago." And there's an empty throne and a stairway down back behind this gang of dudes. And down here is a small room with 2 more cult dudes in it and some kind of machine. The cats flanking said machine say, "Welcome, my master awaits. And I personally wish to have my master sleep quietly, but you're here, fuckface." When you talk to the second one, the machine pops open, and a guy scoots out on a gurney. Kind of looks like an MRI machine, if you've had the poor fortune of experiencing one of those. He sits up, and a cutscene begins. He's a princely-looking dude, circlet, cape, etc. And this guy says, "You finally made it. I'm Lutz, the last telemental on Algo. You seem surprised that I know your name. Don't you remember? This is the second time we've met. I saved you from death after an accident on a space trip with your parents when you were 10. What woke me was Alice's scream. So you are the last descendant of Alice who fought to protect Algo. Beautiful Alice, the symbol of Algo, was fighting the Dark Force in that dream. The Dark Force was trying to destroy Algo, but in the end was itself destroyed. But that doesn't mean there is no longer anyone trying to destroy Algo. You, Todd, must arm yourself for battle. One valuable item is the arrow prism. It will let you see that which cannot be seen. Dun, 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 dun. Also, arm yourself with Nez weapons. Prepare yourself, and then I will tell you about the enemy's plans." And then we're back upstairs. Homeboy is sitting in the throne, and there's a red chest next to him. Inside said chest is the prism. I tried using it then and there. The message you're given reads, "The prism shines with a strange brilliance. Nothing else happens at the time, but it didn't take me long to connect the dots so that this would allow me to see those POIs that I have not been able to see prior to this." So off I went. Before we cut out, though, I didn't internalize at the time, but you were assigned the task of scoring Nia's gear here by Lutz. So, I don't really think, like he mentions it, it's almost like in passing. Like I kind of, I did not take from that conversation or that bit of dialogue from him. They're like, "Oh, now I'm trying to obtain all of Nia's shit." Like, it was not immediately apparent to me. When you get to the POIs and you start finding the shit left and right, whatever, it connects. But it was not like an immediately apparent thing that like, "Oh, put that in your quest log."
I definitely wrote it down as a question, like, arm myself with Nay's weapons? What does that mean? So it was definitely like on my radar when they said that, like, okay, I don't know what that means. Like, are we finding? Like, I'm just like, what's happening with Nay at this point?
I love the idea that you just have a pad of paper where you're writing down ruminations. I mean,
that's the notes here. You know what I mean? I'm like,
right? Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of do it, but like, the idea that you would write it down as like a question to yourself is like a really nice thought. The way they used to be, it's the way they used to be played. Yeah, when you had a journal, I mean, dude, that's how whatever. I just don't play them.
I don't know.
I don't
play
them
like
like
that
anymore.
Through this game, otherwise, like unless I'm looking at a guide or like a walkthrough. Sure. I'm kind of like, I gotta write down this stuff so that I know when it's important later, what's important. And like stuff like the arrow prism, I'm like bolding it. Like, okay, this thing has a name. This means something. Like what, you know what I mean? So
especially the sporadic way we're playing it, for sure. Yeah. No, great. It's great. I'm not. It's not. It's just observation. It's just a nice thought. It's just a nice thought. Like I said, and sure enough, so now you can see these things. They look like high tech buildings out in the wild. And I was praying I would walk into. So I went to Goron first. This is the first one I went to, and I was praying I would walk in here and there would just be a switch or something to hit, But the second I saw stairs, I was like, fuck! These are all going to be a motherfucker, aren't they? And yeah. Straight to PS Cave for the brass tacks screenshot map. I wasn't even going to settle for the bullshit maps in the fucking hint book. Not doing it. So, dude, I go with this, like I said, Goron's the first one I went to. And this one is the 17 floor one. And I was just like, dude, I looked at the map and I was like, 17 fucking floors on this map? I seriously considered just quitting. I was just like, well, fuck it. I'm over it. I cannot do 17 floor dungeons. I can't. I don't have it emotionally in me.
I cannot believe that you went there first. Like, with the despair that I felt, because I was in Akuba, so I left there and immediately saw Minobi to the left. So I was like, oh, so I went there first. And I tried that and got lost and died, just going back and forth like, oh my gosh, what? Like,
is that the one? Which one is Goron?
That's the easier one. It's right to the left of Akuba. Like, you see it. You can't miss it. You know?
Okay, yeah. So, yeah.
And that was supposedly the easiest one. I cannot imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I went to Goron first. I don't have an answer for that, really.
I think I last saved at Minobi, and somehow, like, I went there first, or it was like I don't remember why. That was like,
well, I mean, it's the one you're gonna bump into just coming out of the fucking crevasse. It makes perfect sense. That's what I mean. I don't see why I would have went to the southeast quadrant. I don't have an answer for why I did that, but maybe it was just. I don't know. I don't know why I did that. But I did.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I mean, so I'm looking at the map. If I hadn't seen the Nia cape and armor in there to motivate me, I probably couldn't have got myself to do it. Like, yeah, if it would just been like, I don't know, whatever, just something you got to go hit a switch in after 17 floors, I don't know if I could have got myself there. But I did. It's actually quite simple to this one's credit. Once you're in the top, fuck that little fucking tree maze in the top left for sure. That's bullshit. But the
roundabout just going.
Yeah. You gotta work your way around and then go through the little tree shit to get into the part with the stairs to go straight up the tower, basically. So fuck that part. But once you're in that and get through that and then are just going up the steps, it's pretty quick to get to just, if you don't want to stop and get the dumb shit, if you want to go out and get the lesser important items, it's just kind of a railroad straight to the fucking, the top of the tower. So yeah, I go up there and I get the two things and I'm fucking triple stamping the double stamp, looking at the thing I'm not coming back here. Is there anything else? Fucking really, really scrutinizing that map, making sure I'm not fucking myself. Because I did not want to do 17 floors again.
I got nothing else. I got the necessary and I was out.
Yeah. Yeah, I even went as far as to Google the answer. I looked at the map, I was like, I don't trust it. I'm Googling to see if there's anything else I need to do in these, so I do not have to come back a second time. And yeah, that's it. You just get the stuff and leave. And that's also anticlimactic. You know what I mean? There's not, if you're going to put me through this, at least give me a battle. Give me some, visual, something interesting that's not just plotting through these fucking awful dungeons. So even that sucks. There's not even a payoff or you accomplish something feeling, because you are just plotting through a fucking tower and then
that's my complaint with all of these dungeons, all of these later dungeons. It's all keep falling through this pit or keep climbing up and down these stairs and just getting lost. You're like, oh my gosh, man. It's not just give me enemies to fight and then a boss. You're just having me lost and annoyed right now. I'm more frustrated than anything that I have to feel like I need to consult a guide to get through this.
Right. See, I finished that one and then okay, go to the second one, and I'm I as far as how I'm doing, to break the fucking tower down, start bullet pointing fucking things. I'm like, fuck, who cares? Fuck this. Just fucking all these next three towers, it's all the same shit. It's exactly the same thing. You just get the Nia shit and get on with your life. So let's just talk about the Nia shit and do exactly that. There is the Nia crown, and this is the doctor only head armor of Nia's. Yep. Plus 48 on that. Useless for me. I was assuming you could use it. Maybe you did eventually. I don't know.
Eventually, yeah.
Okay.
I'll put that and the Nia cape on her.
Okay. The Nia Met is a plus 50 headgear for the Agent and the Wrecker. Best in the game for them, of course. Todd is getting his noggin.
Agent.
Right, yeah, exactly. Getting his noggin banged on the front line all the time, so I didn't hesitate to give that to him. There's the Nia Amel, and this is 118 hand defense for the Guardian or Thief. Best in the game for both those. So I was tempted to give that bump to Dime Piece because she's also on the front line for me, getting her fucking melon whacked all the time. And, late game especially, healing her was a constant fucking battle. So I thought about giving that to her, but then you take away her dual wielding offensive capability, and that's clearly her benefit to you. So
Yeah.
I
I tried that. I put it on her, and I was like, no, back to damage. She was way too. She would end up being like level 30 for me and doing so much damage. I'm like, there's absolutely no way I'm using that. So the net ML would sit in inventory.
Yep. Same. Well, actually, no. I guess I did. I gave it to the thief and replaced. She still had the true sleeves for healing purposes, of course, but the actual equipping of it, it took her defense from 240-ish to 361. So that was her fucking defense, the 361 defensive points.
Crazy defense.
Yeah.
I would actually be rocking with my hunter, of course, the Nay shot and the Nay armor. So he's just like, I would lose the Nay shot for all the damage it does. Unfortunately, you lose it shooting multiple enemies, which I was like bummed about that. It seems like a lot of these Nay things, like they give and they take. And so it was like, I was bummed to lose that.
Just in general, man. I mean, that literally my next note was going to be like in the same way we talk like the character choices and stuff, even down to the minutia of, are you going to dual wield or are you going to work some defensive options in there? Like the fucking level, the layers of choice the game gives to you is unprecedented in any of the RPGs we've played for sure to date. So that is very cool. Not everything is. So yeah, there's the Nis shield. This is for the biologist and the wrecker. And I did that same thing with Codsworth here. I just got rid of the fucking... kept him with the shield deal going on. So I got his defense up to 365. And then there's the cape. That's body armor for the Doc and Thief. And that was a plus 32 for sheer over her ceramic cape. And then the Nia armor, like you said, is Hunter Wrecker shit. Best in the game. So whether you get whoever you give that to. And then the Nia slasher is the Guardian only boomerang deal. Plus 18 of the AC slasher. So then you're just dual wielding an AC slasher and a Nia slasher. And that was 187 total attack, which is nice. And then the Nia shot, which is a plus 20 over the previous thing, previous gun. The Vulcan. Was it Pulse Vulcan or whatever it is?
Yeah.
So coming out of this, the only thing still missing from the fashion line, the Nia fashion line, is the sword. And we have been given no direction as to where that may be. So the next best step would be going back to the mansion and seeing if there was any additional information there.
Dude, I was so confused. I was like, it said get all 8. I was double counting. I was like, I have 7. Am I missing one? Should I miss one? Yeah, I was like going back like I didn't.
I gave myself the peace of mind with the Google, so I was not worried at all.
I eventually did, and I was like, I don't want to spoil. I just need to go look how many weapons. And so I watched like a playthrough of somebody going back, and like the minute they talked to him, I was like, okay. You get it there. I'm good. I'm mini freaking out. That I go back to those places again.
Great. So yes, Throne Boy Lutz is thrilled to have you back. He says, good job! You are truly a descendant of Alice. I acknowledge you are qualified to succeed the power of light and the memory of darkness. 1,000 years ago, after the battles of Alice, Algo obtained peace for a short while. People were satisfied with what was given to them by those they loved and did not ask for more. And it was their pleasure to give to their loved ones more than they wanted. However, when Mother Brain arrived, Algo changed. We got confused because Mother Brain created so many things, we didn't really know what we needed. People started to fight for what Mother Brain created. They no longer thought that kindly about Alice. People even thought that they could not live without Mother Brain. I think that a devil's trap is behind Mother's Brain. They cause the people's mind to weaken. And that's just, I bet the not translated, kind of translated, mod that like tweaks the dialogue, I bet it changes that sentence too. Because that's like I read that and like, yeah, Devil's Trap, clearly bad. That's a bad thing. But I bet that's not what it's supposed to read. And like, whatever specific developed canon lore has been created, laid down, and considered to be the concrete story for Phantasy Star over the years. I bet that can be better worded, is kind of, I guess, what I'm saying. Goes on to say, the trap also leads Algo to destruction. I don't know who made that trap, or the trap, or why. There is a Nia sword in the box. When you pick it up, it will rescue you from the evil side. And indeed, a chest sits there next to him. When that diatribe ends, You get the Nia sword. This is the best sword in the game, and it's for our agent, of course. It's a plus 26 attack and plus 32 defense over the Laconian sword, so let's dance. Then you turn back to Throne Boy, talk some more, says, Todd, are you brave enough to do battle with the powers of evil? And you can actually answer this question. You can say no. And in response to that, Lut says, in that case, I'll send you on your way with my prayers. Oh, God of Algo, bless this party with courage and strength. And then you can be on your way to do who the fuck knows what. Maybe stack healing items if you're smart. I was not. And then you can also say, yes, let's party. And in response to that, he says, I will leave the future of Algo up to you. I pray for your safety. Use the Neh sword if you run out of power. It will bring you back here right away. Now go to those who watch us from outside of Algo. And I didn't register this at the time as the way to get out of the in-game area. And if I had decided to do that at any point, I would have had to Google. Like this is, again, I just kind of blew by it. And I did not internalize that as like using the sword as like a transport.
As an item?
Thing. Right.
Oh, I did immediately. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. By the time, it was basically a problem was by the time I was in the end game thinking about maybe doing that, I was far enough removed from this conversation that I had forgotten that he said that is really, I guess, what the problem would have been. Anyways, you are then transported straight to Noah, and this is kind of the final dungeon of Phantasy Star 2. And comes up and you're in a purple-gray hallway, space is whipping by outside, and it's immediately discernible as yet another boring nondescript maze, at least it was to me. And I was just right the fuck off, Googled the map, PS Cave, let's fucking just get to the bottom of this. There is a dope soundtrack crank, Under is the track name. And you're going to start getting into fights immediately. One thing I will say is the Neh sword attack animation is pretty dope. It's like this blue energy slash that looks as powerful as the numbers suggest. What do you got?
I'm just very fascinated. You just went into, just moved on from here. I had a whole other like third of the game happen from here.
You did not go to know it? What the fuck did you do?
No. So I mean, okay. So at this point, I'm feeling good, and I'm looking at my inventory and realizing, because I've been at this point kind of thinking every time I go into like a big dungeon or something, I gotta have a bunch of Trimate or whatever. And so
you had that emotional separation thing from the doctor. I had been living fucking on the wild side without any sort of healing capability for so long that was not even didn't even cross my fucking mind.
I mean,
just, let's go.
Yeah. The funny thing is, though, when I looked at my inventory like in detail, I realized my agent had like 2 Star Mists and like 2 Moon Dew just through the course of playing. And so I was like, I was like reminding myself what each of those did. I'm like, okay, definitely gonna need those. And then I'm looking on RPG Classics because that's where I was like, I gotta like show me the way somewhere. There's who I was looking at for like the different techniques to use. And so, like, their walkthrough thingy said, like, you should go back, have Sheer steal all this Moon Dew, at least 8 Star Dew and 4 Moon Dew. And I was like, okay. Josh told me,
that's wild that you, this is wild. How you're supposed to do this is wild.
But no, but hear me out. So, like, it was an interesting mind game because, mind you, up until this point, I had been feeling good in my battles. But, like, I'm hearing from you on the side texting me, like, I don't know if I can do this. I might have to change my party. And I'm thinking, like, how hard is the end game that Josh doesn't even know if he can complete it?
Super fucking hard. That's how hard, Jay.
And so I'm like, all right, I guess I have no choice. I got this sword, which he's telling me as an item will just take me back here when I need to. So maybe it'll just warp me back from Algo. So I leave there, go back to Paseo.
Paseo, you mean?
Or Paseo, I meant. Paseo, yeah. I fly all the way back to Paseo, go back, swap out my wrecker for sure, and I grab her and I start trying to steal stuff, and I'm like, she's not stealing, and so I have to look up.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
just like
you
it's
have to be level 10.
It's like a random fucking thing. Okay, so is that what it is?
So I was like, okay, fine. So I'm like walking around outside, just like leveling up quickly, and I get to 10. I'm like, all right, great. Try to steal stuff and nothing stealing, and I'm just like, I wonder if it's one of those things where you have to be like the higher level you are, you get better stuff. So I fly all the way back to Dezo, walking around in Skur, leveling her up to like level 14.
Was it relatively fast?
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't take that long. So
I read somewhere that like which it makes sense, of course. That I read somewhere that like if you do decide to make late game party changes, the way the XP scaling works, you can get them kind of up to speed.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. So I by the time I did that, I flew back and I'm like, okay, let's try this again now. She's level 14, and so she's still not stealing anything. Then
did you get the Vizio phone? You got the Vizio phone, right? That's the first thing.
I did go back and she stole the Vizio phone. I was like, oh, she stole something. That's great.
That's wild. How so? Like the thing, like she's just gone, and then she gets to go back to the house. And get it. That's so weird. We talked about
once that happened. I was like, oh, now this is how it works. So after that happened, I just went back and forth, and finally she started stealing stuff. At first, she stole. I had like 8 Moondew before anything else. So I just grinded that for a long ass time until I.
And what does the Moondew do? I know the Stardew is the one that
resurrects you. It resurrects somebody.
Okay, one person. And the Stardew heals everyone fully? Is that
everybody fully?
Okay.
So I'm like, at this point, it took a while, but I ended up just going through all of that and just like fully stacked Trimate, fully all of that. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. Then I go back and I will come back and do this again. But at this point, I'm fully stacked and I swap her back out, bring back in my wrecker. Or not, I'm sorry. Yeah, I bring back in my wrecker.
So you stole the shit and just fucking dropped her ass. That's great.
Yeah, of course. She was only there for...
It's a server purpose, yeah.
Yeah, she was only there for that. So I brought that back and then brought Amy back in, and I was like, all right, let's see what happens here. And then...
Oh, so you left her, you didn't bring the wrecker in, you got the doctor back.
Yeah, I'm like thinking about it.
So then you have the optimal party. Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
Well...
So far from...
No. So that's what I did. I would make another swap. So at this point, I took out Sure, and I still have Hunter, Agent, Amy, and Anna. So I have those 2 right now. For now, to go to fight not Mother Brain, but the Dark Force. Okay. And then I would make another change, which is crazy after that.
Okay.
So at this point,
so now you go to know. So now we're on the same page. Okay.
Now we're on the same page. After all of that, so this is like a whole 2-day like process of me.
Yeah, I wish I had taken that fucking diversion. I wish I had done that. So it may have seemed arduous at the time. I promise you, it was smart and the right decision. So yeah, so the goal of Noah, it's only 2 floors. So if you look at the map, it's just not even like, oh, it's this cake. But it's of course like all these other. It's just like this constant back and forth shit. And goes without saying, the shit in here is like legit enemies. It's all the most botted shit possible.
So annoying.
Well, start seeing all the dragons, and I don't think you've seen dragons yet anywhere. I'm pretty sure there's all
varying degrees.
Yeah, all 3 kinds of them are here. There's fucking just.
There's fucking lava.
That just burns you. The purple and the orange lava fucking waste you. There's a ton of those fucking wrestling dudes, which are cool sprites, and I like their animations and shit, but they're the fuckers that poison you. So those are in here, and they're like support characters. You're like dealing with those while you're dealing with something. Yeah,
I'll take those other than the other things that they're always with and everything else.
Yeah. There's just a lot of tough shit in here. So, not an easy feat after all, but you wander back and forth between the 2 floors, and then you wander up. Eventually, you'll wander to this chest that's like in the middle of a doorway. You can't get through the doorway without opening the chest, right? So you walk up to that, click whatever, engage or whatever the button is, and the dialogue we're given or the message we were given reads, "What is this? I feel the tremendous strength of dark power." And then it cuts to a black screen with more text boxes. And we get some dialogue here that reads, "Ha ha 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 ha! This is Pandora's box. It contains all that is evil. All that you call the Dark Force. This is a present from our world to all of you. take it. which I don't know. Definitely, whatever. And then a massive fucking enemy appears in a battle screen, and it is a teal and black mass of talons and bared teeth that occupies the entire enemy battle arena space. And it kind of looks like it's attached to the ceiling, like just like a fucking
a floating.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
thought it was Mother Brain.
I did too, because you don't see it. You don't get. It doesn't like say what it is. You know,
you get no indications of any kind
of
except
any name
for flashing during this.
Right,
during
precisely. So yes, I told you 1,000,000 times that I was at the final boss. That whole time I was not at the final boss. I was at this, and I also thought it was fucking Mother Brain. So, and it certainly, the look of it certainly suggests that it could be Mother Brain. This thing could be named Mother Brain, no problem, is what I'm saying.
Oh, easily. I believed it. I thought it was.
Yeah. So, the one thing that does suck, it's the same old battle theme for this. There's no final boss battle theme. That kind of blew to me in my mind, but whatever. Soundtrack on this is pretty good, so I didn't want to fucking think too bad of thoughts about that. But this thing only has 2 attacks. So it's not like doesn't do a bunch of different shit. But it's got an AoE electricity attack that generates from the front of its forward-facing melon. It's got 3 heads on it, so the forward-facing one is where the attacks come from, and some red lines appear in the skin folds, and then a 4-pronged bolt animation shoots out of its mouth towards the 4 corners of the screen. And then the other attack is visually communicated by the eyes of its face, each getting a blue twinkle in them, and then the mass of the sprite disappears for a beat, before only the aggroed face appears and starts flying around, leaving acid trails behind it. And this is a psychological attack on one character that that does 0 damage, but if it's successful, which is most, I think it might always be, it might be auto
all the
successful.
time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. If it's successful, the message reads X becomes evil, and character name meaning becomes evil, and you no longer, once this happens, you no longer have control of the player until this status is alleviated. And their actions can be a range of things while they're under this condition, all of which are less than ideal for your overall goal of fragging this fucking thing. And the 3 messages that I wrote down or the 3 actions that I wrote down was X turns traitor and tries to run, but can't get away. So it just tries to flee and can't, right? Yeah.
Check.
And that's the kind of thing. Like each character it's kind of like their own, they each have their own deal maybe. And I never changed characters, so maybe that's why I got 3, So maybe there are more depending on which characters you bring into this fucking battle. Anyways, X loses confidence, X can't, and then whatever you task them with. Yep. So if you've
I think that techniques. It was always X can't use techniques.
Right. Well, I think this can only, because clearly once you lose control of them, you don't even pick, like they don't do anything for you anymore. Yep. But I think this one is what happens when you have done an action and mid-turn before they get to go, this status is placed upon them, and this is what it says to kind of cancel out that action you gave, basically.
I don't know, man. Because it happened to my Anna, and she wasn't even using techniques.
So I mean, it doesn't have to be techniques. I mean, whatever you had them doing, it loses confidence, and if it was if you had set them to attack. That's whatever you told them to do before when you still had control of them, I think, is what it says here. But it just doesn't work because they've now been given a status. And then the last one I had was X gets lazy, agility decreases. So they don't even try to do anything. They just this game is really fixated on really fixated on laziness and I don't know, staying.
That's interesting.
Yeah, saying the guys talk about it. It's agility makes them lazy,
dude. Which is
could say maybe has some Japanese culture ties.
That's what I was thinking.
Being lazy in Japan is not that's a very, to my understanding anyways, not that I'm fucking some Japanese culture expert, but you don't want to be known as that for sure. No. That's a very negative connotation thing. Not carrying your weight. And you are waiting on once this happens, to my best estimation, anyways, confirmed via the interwebs eventually, but it seemed to be the case just from fucking going through the experience, it's a random event. You do not catalyze this in any way, shape, or form. It just happens eventually. And so it's worth saying, too, that this can stack onto all your party members. It takes one turn, and honestly, it's, it's kind of it's hard to say whether it's a positive or not. I guess what I'm saying is it can seem like a positive because it's not doing any damage. It clearly sucks to take one of your characters out of the fucking equation, but it's great not to have an AoE attack that fucking does a shit ton of damage on everyone. So it's like, you know, if the RNG works in your favor and it just keeps doing this, and the random event of your shit not, like the random event of your thing fixing the status eventually happens in like a nice balance, this can definitely be a benefit because you are not taking any damage. And that obviously is the hardest part about this. If you don't have a bunch of dope-ass fucking items that heal and fix your situation, which I did not. So that's the thing. If you have all those items, no, fuck, this is terrible, and you just want to be keeping doing damage because you can heal everyone and revive them and whatever the fuck you got to do to keep the fucking thing going. But I'm trying to get through this without taking damage because I need that RNG luck because I don't have any way to fix getting wasted. Gotcha. You know? So for me, it seemed especially or confusingly potentially beneficial. Anyways,
interesting.
However many characters it's happened to, at any random point, it can... the Neosword basically fixes it. And it says, the Neosword emits a bright light, the evil is dispelled. And then this resets the status on all party members that have been turned evil. You have full control of them, and you can do whatever the fuck you need until this happens to them again, and that will happen for sure. So yeah, this thing just skull fucked me over and 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 over. So I am just like, I gotta grind more. I'm clearly I'm not high enough level, and I don't want to go back through Skur. I don't want to fucking leave this place. I don't want to have to come back through here. I don't want to have to do any of the bullshit that I've done. So I'm just gonna grind here, and it is feasible for me because I have those items that allow me to heal at no cost. So as long as I properly balance my healing, I can do this as a no loss. It's a no loss situation basically, and just keep grinding. And dude, I fucking grinded here for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, dude. Like, I mean, clearly not every day, you know.
Like to what level? Like to what?
I got to levels. There's another very climactic event we will discuss here momentarily, but I got up to like levels 31 and 32. And I still couldn't beat it, mind you. I still couldn't beat this thing.
What? Okay. So I guess this is time to talk about it as well, just to compare that experience with mine. Before I came in here, again, like I was like leaving the towns level 24, and I think I somehow got to like level 28 grinding some kind of way. Like I got to level 28 trying to get Kane and whatever else I was doing. And then RPG Classics, like again, hearing you tell your story about you feeling like you were unable to beat it. Also with RPG Classics, like who I was kind of looking at to make sure I had like all the best gear. But of course I'm deviating because I'm like, I like dual wield. I don't think I want to use these nade weapons. But they kept saying, make sure your agent's at fucking level 35 so you can have access to this spell, and make sure you take Amy. And I'm sitting here like in my mind like, level 35? Like, are you telling me I need to grind 7 more levels? And I'm just like, I'm sitting here, and that's when I texted you back like, I don't know, like the question is going to be beating this, because I was very concerned at this point, even sitting here on all these trimates and everything. And so for me coming in, I'm like, I think it was when I was looking for, I can't remember why I was looking on the playthrough thing, but I was looking for, it was the Nate sword thing when I was trying to see like, all right, what, like where do I have all? And I noticed that the person had less strength, agility, whatever than me. Like I didn't see their level, but I saw like their stats were clearly less than me. And I was like, what? So I was like, maybe I should just go for the fences and see what happens here. So I ended up getting to level 31 on the battle there, but then I'm going in there at level 31 with my fingers crossed, like if this doesn't work, then I know I just got to go grind like Josh is, and I got to go. I mean,
I could last, it wasn't just like, there's no shot. I felt, I don't even know. Well, I do know. We'll talk momentarily here about exactly how much damage, but I wasn't like writing it down and like seeing how close I was. I never did that, so I don't know. I don't know really how close I got, but it seemed like I would be able to fucking keep the thing going and have like prolonged, lengthy battles. Hodgepodging this whatever the RNG of the evil thing and getting it back and doing damage and fucking the little bit of healing capability I had. I was able to fucking have sustained battles And I would, keep checking in. I would fucking raise a level for everyone and then check back in with fucking Dark Force. But walk in, punch the clock, and fucking see if I could fucking do it. And it did not happen. So yeah, I mean, it was so, frustrating and futile that, yeah, I did started doing net research. And this is when I found taking Sheer back to Paseo to steal Star Mist from the tool shop, And like, I was reading that, I was like, oh my God, like, how the fuck would I know that? How the fuck would you know? How the fuck? You don't even get that shit anywhere else. It's not even like, you see it, it's in the fucking manual, it exists, but like, that's not enough to like, oh, I need to take Sheer to the fucking tool shop in Paseo. Like, it's not even like any tool shop. It's the tool shop in Paseo to steal it,
Which is helpful at this point, since that's the only place that you're flying back to, but at the same time, It's like, to go through back and do that. It was annoying, because I was not able to use the sword to bring me back. I had to go all the way through the crevice and all that shit to get back there. So I was like, ugh. But it helped, because I actually went through this and beat Dark Force on the first try. I did have a couple deaths, so I did have to use my moon dues. Thankfully, I had 8 of them. I did have to use a couple to like bring people back to life, because it was just my agent fighting. Everybody else was like a coward or like paralyzed. You know what I mean? Whatever those 3 status effects that you just brought up, that it was just them. So I was like, I guess it's just me and the agent, like, casting spells. Let me go to town on this dude and see what happens. I was able to do it on the first try, and I couldn't believe it. I was like shocked.
No, that blows my mind. Yeah, man, I was scouring the internet for solutions. I was like,
wow.
There was just I eventually would get into some playthrough stuff, and I see that, they're stacking all the trimates they take in there. I definitely didn't do that. I clearly didn't have a good party composition. I didn't go get the moon dues and star dues shit. So, like, I saw the things I didn't have, but man, like, at the fucking level I was at, like, granted, their bosses clearly were supposed to be way harder, but, like, at 31, I was fucking vaping the normal enemies, even the bada ones, man. Like, just fucking. So it was like, the grinding could not have been more as such. Yeah. It was just mindless grinding on those fucking things. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like it's fucked that I couldn't power through that. Especially learning that this is not the final boss, even at the time thinking it was. So yes, man. I raised 4 or 5 levels. I probably. Yeah, raised 4 or 5 levels, probably realistically combined, like, somewhere between, like, 6 and 8 hours of grinding over the fucking course of a couple fucking weeks, maybe even months, whatever it was, So, yeah, I got to levels 32 and 31. And then, so that's where I'm at, right? And then last weekend, Jay, I had a rather massive emulation snafu. So.
No.
Yes, so it's funny that you said this specific thing. So, I find retro achievements, and you got it. So the way retro achievements works, you get to go into RetroArch and you put in your login for retro achievements into RetroArch, and it just automatically syncs with the RetroArch database, website, server, whatever. And when you start a game, a fucking box appears in the top left corner and tells you how many achievements of the total possible you've done in this video game. And then as you hit achievements in game, you get the same pop-ups that'll show you which Chivo you got and whatever. So it just automatically syncs and whatever, makes it fucking, you don't need to do anything. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to fucking beat this goddamn game, I at least want to get my fucking beat this game Chivo for this motherfucker. So I go into, my handheld works on RetroArch as well as the underlying fucking emulation UI. So I go in there and I'm trying to put in the retro. I do put in the retro achievements sign in shit, and it's not syncing. Like, it's when I start the game, the box isn't popping up, so I know it's not synced. And I start doing research, and like, you have to have the current, like, or relatively current stable version anyways, 1.21 I think it is, or something like that, of RetroArch for this syncing thing to work for a lot of reasons, just so it works with their database and shit. So I don't have my emulators. I was on like 1.8 or some shit. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta fucking update that. And that's not easy. It's on a flash card. It doesn't have a hard drive. So there's hoops to jump through to update your fucking RetroArch on there. So I have to like basically kind of wipe it. Now what? I do the research. I save the games. I save my save states, all that shit. I back all that shit up the right way. I'm not an idiot. I did all that right on my thing. But I didn't write down exactly what core I was using and exactly what version of what core I was using. And save states are complicated as far as the compatibility goes. What? So I wipe my fucking emulator. I wipe the RetroArch. I update it all. I get it all updated. The real shit of it is I couldn't even get it to it. I couldn't get whatever the right version to get it to sync. So I was never even able to get it to sync on my emulator. And I also could not get those save states to load. Now, if I had done a little more research, because when you save the save game files in the emulators are cross emulator compatible. It's like it's the same whatever something or other code or whatever programming language as the ROM. It's just like it's a universally understood file format, just like the ROM is, because it's literally what I'm guessing it's the exact same functionality as the way the hard cartridges, the actual cartridges, save the game on the battery backups in the fucking cartridges. It's like a fucking certain way of working. So all emulators are able to open and understand that. If I'd have just saved my game, which I did a lot of times playing the game, but I didn't have it say, and I even had the Visiophone too. I could have done it right there in front of the fucking boss even, but I didn't have a save game, and I wasn't able to recover it that way, and my save states were lost. So yeah, dude, I beat the game. I lost the game. I tried loading those save states on my desktop emulator. I played 99.7% of this video game and was not able to, I didn't even beat Dark Force. Because that's when I did this emulation snafu, dude.
I'm sitting up here like, what is the resolution? I gotta understand.
There isn't one. I was like, no. Yeah, dude, believe me, I sat at my desk right here. I sat right here, and I was looking at it, and I was looking at my fucking handheld, and I was like, I can't believe, I cannot believe that I did this to myself. Like, for that exact reason. I did not have the foresight to think it was a dumb time to do this. And like, I guess that's the draw of the psychosis in me. For like the collection, that's why I don't collect. That's why I don't start collecting things, because I'm a psychopath. I can't not do the whole thing in its entirety the right way. Once I start, like I must have all the Chivos now that I have started to collect Chivos.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. This is crazy.
So fucked, dude. So fucked. Yeah, I did have. So the saves. I like I said, I had been saving, but it was all the way back on levels 27, 28, just wherever the fuck it was in the thing. So like, I was like, I'm not doing all that shit again.
Not regrinding.
Yeah, I'm not regrinding. I'm not going back through those fucking towers and like whatever the fuck else I had to do. It was too far back. I was like, I'm just not doing that. That's not happening. So yeah. This is where I got off the fucking train, and what are you gonna do? So you said you did Topple Dark Force. Good job, Jay.
So yeah, I guess I'll tell you my experience. So after, I beat Dark Force on the first try, surprisingly, but it was freaking stressful because people kept being coward or asleep or whatever things they were doing to them, and so I had to raise a couple people from the dead, so using 2 of my 8 moon dudes.
After the fact, you mean? Yeah. Also, it's not, I did watch a playthrough. It's not like I don't know what happened. The fucking there was no unique battle. Like, didn't even give you any celebration copy or anything after you beat it. It was just like it died. And even like you get 556 XP. It's got like a nominal ass amount of extra experience, and then 0 Maceta. So yeah, just I don't know, fucking lame. Yeah. And the PS Cave does have his HP. The total HP is 2560 for this fucking thing.
Nice. Yeah. That makes sense. That's good to know. I didn't look at any of that beforehand. I was just kind of like, let's see what happens. And so I was excited when I beat it because I was like, oh my gosh.
Right, yeah. Exactly. I'm watching the playthrough, dude, and I'm like, you beat it, and I'm like, okay, in game. Let's see what the fuck. What's the rest of the story. And then it just goes back to the dungeon. And I was like, what the fuck?
I'm walking around there for a second, so I'm just kind of like, and I look on RPG Classics, and they're like, "Yep, at this point, you should just go back to the dude and heal up." And I was like, so I did. I used the Nay sword.
Really? And then went all the way through.
Went back to the dude, and I'm just like, I'm sitting there, and I am upset that I went through and had to go back, but I'm like, so what was that? And then he, says what he says, and at this point,
does he like say something different about, like, basically, is he cognizant of having beaten Dark Force? I didn't even think of that as like
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I just went back to him, and he asked the same questions. I say no, and he heals me all back up and gets everybody their stuff back. And then
so he just auto heals you too. You don't have to go do it.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, because at this point I'm like, I beat Dark Force. I thought I was Mother Brain, because I'm looking at RPG Classics, because I'm like, what do I have next? Like, what is left on this? And they say to go back to where I just came from. So I'm like, oh fuck. But they mentioned that Mother Brain is a robot, and so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay, that means I need the Wrecker. And still, again, to your point, I had no clue where you're at and where you were having issues. So I'm like, fuck, I thought he had the Wrecker in his party.
Oh god, that's fucking awful.
And so I go all the way
dude,
back.
But this is such an embodiment of what I've been saying, like that it like, dude, I don't give a shit where we were at in Dragon Warrior or Final Fantasies, or even obviously fucking Ultima. I don't know about like composition or like build decisions being convoluted or confusing. I don't think that. There were definitely moments in Ultima where like, I don't know what to fucking do next. Like completely, and like when you read the answer, you're like, I've never would have thought that in a million years. So there's shit like that, but that's just shitty game design. Like in this case, like that, what you're saying right here, like the idea that it can, like what I'm getting at here is the idea that it can plant a seed of doubt in your head. Anything can plant a seed of doubt in your head enough to make you, at this point in the game, just go make some crazy ass decision is like a wild testament to, I don't know, how open the playing field is for whatever, the you playing the game the way you want to play, and like those possibilities being there, because most of these games do not give you this much variance or potential for it, you know what I mean? And that is cool as fuck. I just wish the game was better.
And I think that's right, because I was feeling confident, like that Mother Brain was a struggle, but I did beat it on the first boss with the extra stuff I had, and I still had, extra trimates and things left over. But it was kind of like, okay, if that's not the boss,
what's this gonna be, right?
Yeah. So at this point, I'm like, all right, maybe I do want to go back and like swap out for the Wrecker and have Sheer steal more stuff. So I was like, so I went back all the way back to Paseo, and I realized I swapped, but at this point, because it kept saying you should have Amy, even though I didn't make it to level 35, so I'm not like healing, I'm not using the crazy spell which takes half of your health and all that, so I'm kind of just like, I need
what's
Amy?
The point?
It says,
right,
yeah, I'm like, who do I swap out? And so nervously, I bring the Wrecker back, but I swap out Anna, my Frost
Guardian.
chick.
No
yeah,
shit. Okay.
I swap her out, and she's level 30, and I'm like, oh, this is a really tough decision because Kane's only like level 25 for me. So there's like a definite level.
So then you have the Wrecker
imbalance.
and the Doctor? Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yeah, I have the Doctor, the Wrecker, and then my Hunter and Agent. And so like everybody's doing high damage, but like obviously Amy's not doing high damage. My Wrecker will, with his skills, with his techniques, not necessarily his weapons, because that's not why I brought him in. And so I'm like nervous because I'm swapping out a level 25, a level 30 damage person for a level 25. So I'm like, do I do this? Like I got through it. Like I went all the way back. Like I didn't even save it until I got all the way back to the same point again, because I was nervous about
no faith. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's what I made it. Yeah, planning like that level of like, yeah, that's wild. That's such a good job, really, if you think about it.
But even that was like, it was good, because once I got back, went back to the same spot, you end up having to, I go back and I'm like looking around, like, where do I go? So I just kind of go to the right and keep walking, run into this, and for me, far easier of a fight Like
she has less HP, just flat out. I mean, it's only by a couple hundred or something like that, but less HP. Yeah.
But it was just an easier fight.
Not having that fucking evil thing fucking your whole world up is obviously, at minimum, way less annoying.
It was so much easier. Honestly, like all I did was I used Amy to use her like Snow Crown,
Snow Crown,
boost agility.
That's the
Snow
shield
Crown
thing.
and Color Star. Snow Crown and Color Scarf.
Yeah.
I had her like used for defensive stuff.
The agility thing is cool. I didn't think to do that. That's smart. That was something in general, because Anna had that spell that was like the fast spell that like really buffed her, whatever, something that let her do more whatever damage, attacks, whatever the fuck it was. And like I was always torn whether to use that and like take a turn of damage out of the equation. So having someone who could do that already is kind of just a support character would have been smart and good, and I did not do that either. So yet another horrible mistake that I made in the in-game run here.
And honestly, like it's funny that I used her that way, because knowing what I know now, I didn't really need to even bring her, because I wasn't using her to heavily heal. I just used her defensive capabilities, and then with the Wrecker using Gizon or Nazon, the big robot blasting thing, I just had him casting that. I had my agent casting Gizon, and just had them just like, and then my hunter just attacking. And
I definitely wouldn't have thought. Who said that she was a robot? Because I would have never thought that she was a robot.
I wouldn't have thought it. So robot class.
It makes total sense. Mother Brain, it's clearly a robot, but like I did not fucking think it.
Well, I had been through all the commentary thinking that like Lutz was this at first, until he kind of I'm not sure of this dude, but like I was thinking of him as like a Wizard of Oz character, and that this Mother Brain, because it controls the weather and all this, is like a big robot kind of thing. And so I'm just on RPG Classics just trying to like all right, what do I do next? And when it says like, oh yeah, it's a robot, so make sure you have the
so RPG Classics, okay, so
yeah, so I was like
game lore, okay.
So that's what had me like,
I didn't think that, and I had here's the well, I didn't get that fight, so it doesn't matter. I was gonna say I had the Wrecker, so I could maybe potentially could have also gotten through that more easily, I should say, because I did have that available to me, the damn robot damage. I don't know if I'd have thought to use it. I'd probably just been doing fucking Storm Gear over and over again like an idiot, but
it's the Gizons and the like, those big robot damage and the big fire damage for the agent. Those it was easy, man. I still had like I used Star Mist a couple times, but outside of that, like I still left there with several Trimates, several stuff still. So way easier of a fight than freaking Dark Force. Dark Force was like the bigger hurdle to get past.
Yeah, like I said, the evil shit. So yeah, okay. Well, just to talk through the fucking the
fight itself,
the machinations of getting there and what all the dialogue is. So you go through Dark Force's lair, their room, and then back upstairs to the second floor. You go across a bridge that's over top a bunch of machinery, probably some fucking mainframes down there, and a female figure appears in a ball of lightning in front of you, halfway across the bridge. She says, so this is the Mother Brain, or fucking, it's like, I don't know, the narrator maybe saying this. So this is the Mother Brain controlling Algo. Todd and the party are overcome by the presence of the Mother Brain, but the future of Algo depends on them. Will they have to fight? And like, this is interesting too, but will they have to fight to pry Algo from the grasp of Mother Brain? And then you're given a yes/no prompt, so you make the choice of whether you want to engage in this thing. You say no, it says, just as I thought, you cannot harm me. I am just like talking shit. You cannot harm me. I am like a mother protecting her child, and now I will take my child, Algol. They start calling Algol here. I don't know, whatever. I don't know if that's a mistake or like, I don't know, whatever, the fucking old world way to describe the solar system, whatever. By the hand and lead it down the path of destruction. On your way then, because there's nothing you can do. And then it's just back to the gameplay. So unless you're going to sword your ass back out of here, you have to say yes to this. And when you do, the response is, the Mother Brain begins to grin. You are such fools. If you damage me, the world will be thrown into a panic. Without me, the people of Algo are helpless. They have become too soft and used to comfort. Again, that lazy thing going on. If you were to malfunction, the people would die, cursing their fate. If that is your aim, disable me. If not, return now. So it gives you like this moral quandary.
Yeah.
And that's
cool. Like, what?
That's cool too. And it's another yes/no, but neither of the playthrough vids that I was leaning on at this time tried the yes reply, so I just fucking didn't care enough to dive further. But if you say no, it probably just brings you back to having to say no, I'm sure.
It does. It takes you right back. I did it on accident, and it was like, oh, So I gotta choose that one. Okay.
Right. So in response to no, she says, "I will show you no mercy. Die." And then a battle fires up, and it looks awesome. This is very cool. It's got like
a cooler sprite.
Yeah, way cooler. It's got a cool prelapse animation with like a movie. Like even the background is like this dynamic background as opposed to just the static black that you get in all other fights. Yep. And then a blue flame lower border fades in, and this is like just fire at the bottom there on the bottom border, and then Mother Brain sprite comes in, and she has like very much goddess vibes going on. She's got four-armed humanoid female look with hair strands that only barely teeters on being thick enough to call tentacles or something, tendrils of some kind. And the whole sprite flashes a range of bright colors to give her like a psychedelic feel. And yeah, it's just a fucking awesome boss sprite. She is also only working with 2 attacks. She's got a single character shot and an AoE attack. The animation for both is kind of the same explosion-minded deal. The AoE one just looks like a bigger explosion and kind of has like that like atom bomb, like, fucking whatever, going across the ground look to it. And the PS Cave listing for her describes the AoE one as a Nova Burst. So that's what the attack is called, even though it never is named that in the game copy. And her HP is 2450. So yes, it's like 110 less than Dark Force. So I'm watching Nintendo Complete as one of the 2 playthroughs I'm watching, as is customary. And the strategy looked like you're just trying to lay down as much melee damage, same as Dark Force basically. And again, I'm ill-equipped to be doing that. So it was whatever. I'm sure would have had my difficulties even if it would have been less than Dark Force. And it's slightly less annoying because of the no evil thing, as I already mentioned. So when you do kill her, the party is victorious. Rhetoric on victory is exactly the same. You only get 1 XP. No Maseda this time. Some copy begins. Rolf and the rest of the company, Todd, whatever the hell your agent is called, stood in amazement where the Mother Brain once was. Algo had been suddenly released from the Mother Brain's control. The biosystems and weather control systems suddenly became useless. The people of Algo awaited the start of their hard and difficult life without the Mother Brain. But Rolf and the others could feel a sense of hope. Let's get back to Moda. This is only the beginning. And then the party starts walking down instead of through the door that opened. So like the playthrough I'm watching, I'm saying, they like just this one guy, the one playthrough was kind of fence testy, and they tried to leave basically. And if you try to walk south on that bridge or down on that bridge, you're stopped before you get off the bridge with some copy that reads, "Rolf, wait." Identifies as Lutz's voice, filled everybody's heart. There is still somebody in the ship. You can't return again. And then it says, "What?" So I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, who knows what's supposed to be talking there, whatever. So yeah, it's just a convenient way of keeping you from leaving, basically, and getting through the rest of the narrative. So you have to go up through the door that was behind Mother Brain. You walk in here, and there is a shit ton of people in perfectly lined up rows filling the room. They're all dressed in regal-looking red-black, and these are blonde-haired dudes. And then blue-black cloaks, those are red-haired dudes, and they all have big gray shoulder pads on.
The story continues. I saw this and I was like, what?
Yeah, what's fucking happening now, man? Yeah. So yeah, I felt like I'd seen them before, but this side quest has legitimately taken us 2 fucking years, so I couldn't be sure. I don't know if these sprites have been present anywhere else in the game or not. A quick introspective thought from the party comes in. Who are these people? Before proceeding to walk up through them to the gray-haired ringleader in the back, this cat says, "Welcome to the spaceship Noah. Who are you? I don't like your tone of voice. Are you here because you think we are enemies?" And then you can actually answer this question. You say no. He says, "Thanks to our creation, Mother Brain, Algol has prospered." You say yes. He says, "Of course we hate you for destroying the Mother Brain." Both lead you back to the same dialogue following it, regardless of which you say. And in response to this, your party or ringleader, Rolf, says, "So you are the creators of Mother Brain. You are hardly what we expected." So this is, again, our party saying this to the dude. Right. Yep. And then he says back, "We are not people of Algo. We are from a planet called Earth." And I like, what? Like, this is supposed to be like
right
a timeline of our holy fuck. Mm-hmm. Nothing in the first 2 games has made me think that, and that was like earth-shattering. No pun intended. Earth-shattering to me. Yes. So I don't know. Great job, I guess. The good fucking whoa storytelling for sure. Then he goes on to say, "Our planet was green and lovely, and we had a highly advanced civilization. We are the last of our race." And, being that they're all dudes, that seems a little bit problematic for keeping the train moving Unless they become...
I did not take it as that. I didn't take it as that all being dudes.
Visually to me, they look like it, but there is the possibility nature finds a way, in the words of what's
Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park, yeah, that they could have become hermaphroditic, in which case, even then, lots of inbreeding. That explains, though, why they all look the same, so I think we can easily get there. Anyhow, I digress. The party says at response, the last, ? And he says, yes, our planet has been destroyed. Do you want to know why? And this is another yes, no. And you can say no to him. And he says in response to that, since you're going to die anyways, you might as well know. And then it drops you back at the previous yes, no prompt. And it's such a Skeletor move to me. It's like such a Skeletor thing to say, you know, like, well, I'm going to kill you, so I'm going to tell you my stupid ass story anyway. This is very funny. And then if you say yes, he says, if you want to know, we will tell you. And that also made me legit LOL, but all very good, funny dialogue. So then he gets into this story time and he says, we were a weaker people then. Even though we knew about the evil inside of us, we didn't suppress it. We took joy in controlling nature. We didn't realize we were destroying ourselves until it was too late. The death rattle of our planet alerted us to our failure. With the time remaining to us, we built a spaceship to wander among the stars. Then we found Algo. We found the people here living in simple happiness. And we decided we wanted this planet. Do you think you can stop us? We who destroyed Palm, you will die. And then the narrator pops in. And he says, thanks to Lutz's power, they were sent on their way. Which, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense to me. And the other play vid, it read... So, again, I'm watching 2 play videos, and this is where I kind of learned this thing that I was mentioned earlier, the mod. So, in the other play vid that I was watching, instead of that, we decided we wanted this planet, and do you think you can stop us? We who destroyed Palm, you will die. Wait, no, sorry, the other line. Thanks to Lutz's power, they were sent on their way. The other video, it read, thanks to Lutz's power, the rest of Rolf's party suddenly appeared. In both cases, 3 members of your couch-crashing constituency that weren't in tow, or the 3 members, just appear right there next to you in another line standing next to you. So, again, I saw the 2 different fucking pieces of copy, and I was like, what the fuck is... And I started doing some Googling, and that's where I figured out... I thought I had noticed earlier in the thing, too, when you first walk up to him, in one of the videos, it said he called he called it Noah a spaceship. And then in the other video, he called it a space ark. So I thought I noticed that difference, but like that's a minute thing, and I was like, whatever. So yeah, I started diving a bit deeper, and there's an emulate. If you're emulating on Genesis, you can get this mod it's called the improvement mod, and it changes copy in a bunch of different ways, probably, or for
that
sure.
Makes sense.
So it probably makes it more story accurate and also fixes a lot of translation bullshit and probably just makes it a generally better experience that I would not be surprised would have improved our lives had we found it in advance of this. But going on, this little exchange, we get very clever, but it's only a matter of time before Algo is destroyed. And then the next thing is silence, be quiet. So I'm not even sure. It sounds like that should both be him, but why is it broken up into 2 boxes? I don't know. Yeah, and then the narrator comes in the next instant, Rolf and the others were attacked by several hundred Earthmen. And then...
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And then a cutscene fires up, featuring action shots of various party members spewing shit-talking dialogue. I believe the order is the same, regardless of party composition. I think it's just the way it goes. But First up, we get the Hunter. He's standing in front of an explosion, like Arnold Schwarzenegger for sure. Gun in hand and giving some off-screen something or other, or some side-eye. And he says, we shall make you see how it feels to lose something you love. And the next is the Doctor. She's holding her hands together with some soothing-looking blue-white energy congealing between them. She says, I can see the confusion and pity in your eyes. I will never forgive you for what you have done. The Wrecker comes next. That dipshit looks like he stabbed himself in the head with a huge knife. Which is right, caters right into his fucking character MO to date. He says, how dare you ruin Algo? Then my girl Sheer, the thief, is next. She looks like she's selling a knife on the Home Shopping Network, the way she's holding it in front of that explosion. She's got like the mini skirt fucking combo on and shit. Yeah. And she says, I refuse to be a slave of fate. I will be the master of my own future. Then comes Biologist. He's conjuring some kind of technique with a closed fist held out in front of him. You have shown me the ugliness of continued existence, is his dialogue.
Interesting.
And then the Guardian comes next. Dime Piece just talking shit with her hand held high. She says, these are my parting words to you. Those who give up are doomed. And then lastly, a cinematically framed close-up of the agent, snarling, no dialogue. Then we cut to a view in space. the curvature of a blue planet just grazing frame right. A message comes up that reads, I wonder what the people will see in the final days. And then a beat passes. A veiled pseudonym credit roll here comes rolling in as the Never Dream track swells. And eventually, the end rolls up into place, center mass on the screen. A white glow begins to emit from the entire planet before some kind of silver-gray shot fires off the surface and out into space, and the tune winds down as we fade to a Sega logo. And Jay, I don't understand how the story ends. I don't know what any of this means. I mean, they're just like basically saying, you know, you're an asshole and you need like there's like this kind of whatever, you know, just generally positive message of never give up. And
right. Well, we all agree the dialogue is screwy and makes no sense.
Right.
So that's the first problem, that it's all like, what is happening exactly?
Right.
But like, it's like, are we saying that these are the billionaires from Earth and that they're ruining everything? They're the ultimate
that is 100%. Well, that like, we got to get to that for sure. That
first of all,
there's like a
set
message
that
here.
to the side. That's that.
Because think this is 1989. What? This is like this is a very current thing. That,
right.
That if you like if this exact story flowchart were in a game in 2025, immediately connect the dots. Like, sure,
exactly.
Was that? I mean, is that whatever
in late 80s?
Yeah, man. I don't know. It seems
that's crazy. Clearly.
Yeah. I mean, enough to be, yeah, for sure, yeah. And like, also, you know, the billionaires ruin everything, sure, but also the eco thing, you know, I mean, that's been present throughout, like but I don't know, but not in the way that
not to that degree, you would think.
Well, not in that exact, like, yes, there's like a consciousness of, you know, they fucked up, they needed Mother Brain to fix shit. Like, you know, there's a little bit of like, whatever, global warming stuff in there, but not to the degree that it's pitched here as like, we Earth people fucked it up. Like, that's never, like, I guess what I'm saying is, to this point, it's just an allegory.
Yes.
Here, it becomes a direct, get your shit together, Earth, you're fucking up, stop burning greenhouse gases. You know, it's like very, very deliberate, and that, yes, was surprising to me for sure. But yeah, also the fucking, So
you have that, and then, to your point, like, the way I interpreted this with the overall and the weird just things that they were trying to say was that, okay, Mother Brain clearly was created by these humans, they came here, they were using this, we just destroyed it all, these cowardly humans are pissed off at us. So they're
just taking it. They're just like taking whatever they need.
They're
for their own
like
betterment.
Yeah. And so like each of the people in the party are basically in their weird way, basically saying, nah, we're not going to allow you to continue. And so I just took it that, hey, the Earthmen came after us. We kicked their butts, and that's the end. There's hope. I don't.
Exactly. It's
the
just like,
words are weird at the end, but I just took it like, "Hey, you give us."
And also, I mean, I feel like the message is conveyed, and then no actual.
There's no wrap up. There's no
like what is that thing coming off the planet? That, I guess that's the simplest question to ask. Like, that is the answer to our question, but I don't know what that is. I don't know who is blasting off that planet. It's got to be a space vessel of some kind. Is it just them? I guess it could just be it could be two things, I guess, actually, now sitting here trying to parse it. It could be us. Do they kill all those fucking Earthmen? Or do they fire them off? Is that the Earthmen being, like, jettisoned off into space to, like, look for your solution elsewhere, motherfuckers? You're not taking our shit. You know, we are going to rebuild this and do it right, and your shitty-ass attitude is not going to be here poisoning that. Or do they kill them all? And is that our party just blasting off Dezo and going back to Paseo, or Tomoda rather, I'm sorry, to help start rebuilding. You know, it's one of those two things. I don't know which one, and I don't know how you're supposed to know.
Honestly, I didn't even take it like that. Like I feel like because we have a ship, that could just be us flying back to Paseo when we're done, or just going on to the next planet. I assumed with all those cinematics and posing with weapons that we took out all the Earthmen.
Absolutely marked them. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that to me makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And certainly is the most fulfilling, as opposed to just, again, sending them off with their tail between their legs to like go fuck someone else over.
Yeah, and then so the last commentary or the last words are like, I wonder what will people think or see in the last days or whatever. I kind of thought like, okay, what will people tell? Like, what stories will people tell about what happened here? Like, what will people say? Yeah, which is nice. It's still weird words, so I'm just like, all right, that was the wrap up. I like the twist that these were humans and they came from Earth. Like, I like that twist, even though everything else, like copy wise, is.
Here's the funny thing, though, dude. So I told you that mod, and now I'm watching both videos. So I definitely checked here to see if these were different. This stuff is not different. It's not improved. It's not changed. They were not different between the two things. So I don't. It's tough. It's tough to I don't know. Fucking do the math there. I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, that's the story. Let us get into our wrap up of this baby here. Now turn our attention to our final look at the Phantasy Star 2 Bestiary Annals. Jay, how would you like to begin your final 3 plucks from the Bestiary here?
Man, okay, I guess I'll start it with the weakest of the 3 easily, because it would jump out at first, and I was kind of just like, what is this thing? And when I was, I guess, particularly lower level, it was more annoying, but at the end of the game, basically a little peon. But it is the Rabbita. This thing...
No, the rat. They look like rabbits, right? Yeah.
Yep, they basically look like rabbits for sure. HP attack, defense XP. It has 167 HP. You get 108 XP. And 10 defense on that bad boy. Sorry, you get 28 XP for defeating it. But it's annoying. Like it's one of those things that you see it a lot. It's always with something else and has like this weird like attack clawy, almost alien arm thing that kind of jumps out at it.
I mean, the late game, there were tons. So like I make the list, for the notes, and I basically just write down everything I encounter when I'm playing through to create those lists. And I mean, the number of like dope sprite and like cool sprite and like shit I wrote, this is like my own little note for each one, so I can make a somewhat educated decision later on, as opposed to just having to go through and look at all of them one by one again. Yeah. And there's quite a few I wrote down, like cool ass sprite, cool ass animation. There's a lot of really cool enemy sprites in here, and just in general, this game's choice, ability, whatever, to like have both idle and attack animations for every enemy just makes the battle still sucked, still grindy. But there was at least some visual cool shit going on that maybe is a little bit of a heightened RPG experience relative to some of the games we've played so far. My first one is the Orangu, and this is the middle grade.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the middle grade representation of the orangutan family. This is the orange one. You can find them all over Dezo. And by the numbers, they have 155 HP, 2178 XP, 239 setup. That's some solid XP for sure. And they have a healing skill that they can use on themselves or another enemy, replenishing 20 HP. And my primary affinity with this one is it's animations, both of them actually. Their idle animation is with their hands clasped. They're twiddling their thumbs, and that's funny to me. And then when they do the healing skill, they scratch their heads in like monkey fashion. That's how they do the healing. Both are funny.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
It looked like they go to attack you, and sometimes they just kind of get confused and stop. So I was like, okay, whatever.
They're healing. Yeah, that's their healing animation. So yeah, then they have a third animation. So yeah, that's 3 animations for them. For the ones with special skills, they would show something different too. So that's cool. I'm pretty sure their attack is not scratching the head. Also, I can't imagine it is. I did not write that down though. Next up, Jay.
Yeah, for me, the next one I saw. I saw this one and I was just kind of very confused. Like I would see his first version of him a lot, but when he kind of showed up for a hot second, I thought I was at like a boss or the end, and that is Mr. Death.
Okay, yeah, those are cool. Just the shadows.
Yeah. You would see Dark Side as well, which is like the weaker version. But yeah, Mr. Death showed up, and I was like, oh my gosh, am I at a boss? And it's basically just like an outline flashing of this dark figure, with like glowing green eyes, and
those were paired with something in Noah. What the fuck were those paired with? They were always paired with the same thing. I don't remember what it was, but
yeah, I don't remember. There's definitely something they're paired with. Sometimes you would see them alone, like the Dark Sides. You would see alone, like maybe just a bunch of them by themselves. But yeah, Mr. Death, when I first encountered him, he was by himself. So I kind of thought it was like a boss or something at first. But yeah, it is 324 HP. You get 4924 XP and 197.
Some of the late game experience shit is wild, man. And it still take me fucking forever to race level.
Yeah. So definitely not happy to see that thing because he can wail on you with his like green magical sword.
My second one was the Mist Cape, and these are the base tier flying mages. All three of them have really dope sprites, actually, just the different color palettes. The Mist Cape was the one I liked the most. They're at their idle state. They are charged. They're all charging, so they're just identical as palette swaps, but their idle state has them charging a gyrating bolt of electricity between their hands, like held up in the air out in front of their faces. And I just like, in the Mist Capes, I just like the red hue of the electricity relative to the blue and green of their illusionist and Imagio Mage brethren. So just visually it was cooler to me. And I think the Mist Cape is the cooler of the three monikers as well.
Yeah.
So the sprite, especially the red cape and cowled Imagio Mine, reminds me of Orko from He-Man.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, these things weren't too bad. Like
they're support characters. They're 100% support characters. So I would actually usually merc things. Those would pair with, what the fuck were those paired? They were always paired with something as well.
I would see those often with the orang things.
Really? In Noah, when I was really grinding.
Oh no, those wrestler things. Those one.
Yeah, they were with another wizard type thing in Noah for me. The fucking I can't think of the name of them, but another. It was like two spellcasting things, and they're more support minded, as evidenced by their special attack, which is something that decreases one party member's attack power. So they're just trying to debuff you basically while the other one was attacking you. So I'd always take these fuckers out, so it would prolong the fight. But yes, Orko made me very happy.
Wand of glass, clean my room, sweeping through like a broom. Now we're cooking.
So by the numbers, these cats are 163, so yeah, very low HP, 3390 XP, 116 Meseta, and they are in all four of the Dezo dungeons, and the head honcho of the family is just in Naval and Noah. So that is where you find those cats. What is your final PS2 enemy to appreciate before we move on with our fucking lives, Jay?
Easily the worst of them all. Every time I would see this, it would make me stop and have to like rethink, like, all right, what am I going to do to try not to use techniques, but I gotta get past this thing with minimal, like, do I use items, like, what am I going to do here? And that's the King Lava. This is the blue version of the Firefall, the hardest one. It can, as a special attack, it can attack the whole party with Inferno.
AoE attack, yeah,
it's in all, like, it's in Garon, in Noah, and this thing has 333 HP, which is not a lot when you think about it, but it's got to have some level of defense, because you beat it and you get 13,944 XP and 245 Meseta for defeating it. But it does a lot of freaking damage.
Those weren't, I mean, because it was just the one thing, and they were never paired with anything. So I didn't really, those didn't worry me too much when I would get those when I was grinding in Noah.
Really? Those would drop, I feel like those would drop like 60, 70, like, damage on everybody each time.
This is another interesting thing. This is another interesting thing too about our different party builds.
Setup.
Well, one, I had higher defense because I equipped all those shields. So maybe that, again, this is just conjecture. I don't know for sure. I don't even remember what would have like been a big amount of damage or not. But for me, the way I'm doing that grinding, dude, like I am like, the attacking part of it is like just like happening in the background almost. Like what I am actively doing is paying attention to my HP and doing the heal items accordingly to keep the party alive. So like the attacking part is just, I'm not even paying attention to that. I'm only paying attention to healing. So like, again, I'm constantly worried about Todd and the fucking Guardian. So like those are the two I'm focused on most of the time. Like how much damage I might have been taking wasn't even a concern. I'm always taking damage. I'm always focusing on that. I'm always seeing who I have to heal. So like the actual numbers of it, not important to me, you know? It's just the way I was doing the battle. So yeah, to me, it was more about, like, I could kill those relatively fast, I guess is my whole point. I don't even know how much damage I was doing. I wasn't paying attention to any of that. Like, to me, it's when the battles would take a long time. That would be the enemies I would take note of and maybe sit up in my chair and, like, get a little serious about how I was approaching them, you know? So
interesting.
That applies to my final option, which was the FR Dragon, which I believe is the...
I was just about to say, I'm like, Dragon?
Yeah,
there you go.
I mean, dragons, bro. Yeah. You know, and this is the middle one, and the visually one I like the most. The MX, which is the low grade one, and the Arch Dragon have more of a muted color palette to them. Dark green, gray, and red horns on this one. The FR Dragon looked the coolest to me. And these are in Akuto and Naval Dungeons. And they are 262, 8355, and 214 by the number, so a shit ton of experience as well. And usually you're going to get one or two of these in a party together with other shit sometimes even. And yeah, all the dragons are serious grinding fodder for sure. The arch dragons are all over Noah, you know.
Honestly, the only time when I was going through Noah that I was concerned and like had to think through my battles, really, what's the best way to get through this? And like, how can I take these down? Was when I would see those dragons and the lava. Everything else I could kind of get through pretty much easily. Everybody fight one person.
The wrestler fuckers.
Those two were just like, whoa, I gotta like focus because they would like. I swear those dragons were doing like 60 damage each time.
They definitely. The arch dragons in particular could fucking. They had some packed a wall up to them. Yeah. If I were forced to choose an honorable mention, the wrestler character, one of the wrestler characters would probably because those would be I pay attention to because obviously they can do the poison thing. They have like the blowgun attack, and that can really fuck up your situation. So I would always prioritize those heavily the second I saw them just to avoid that. But yeah.
Okay.
So our final Tales of the Grind, I mean, you know, there's really, we kind of talked through our actual grinds as we went because it was so applicable to kind of how the in-game flow went. So there's nothing to talk about there. Random happenings, just my emulation mentioning, and then hero classified ad hires. I should have had something to talk about for that, but I did not. You already did yours, so that's kind of all that bullshit. Arcane teachings. I did get some more attack spells. I got a Nazon for Todd at one point, but that's just more damage shit we've already picked apart extensively. The one thing that was kind of interesting is Reaver. Your agent gets that at 30, and that is a 30 PS / that revives one party member. And it can also heal them fully if used on a living character. So if someone's dead, brings them back to life, I think with low to maybe 1 HP or something. But if they're already alive, you can use that same spell, and it completely heals them.
I never used it.
Wherever they're HP.
Never used it.
Me either, because I deleted my game.
Yeah, man. For me, it was just a lot of Nazon with my agent, and then the Gigaj, doing more damage to one robot, or Nagaj doing much more damage. Actually, it's that with Nagaj because it costs 15. Just doing that over and over and over to Mother Brain, and we were golden.
Yeah, see, I didn't even. I mean, I honestly, in general, man, spells in this game, period, I never really. There was, I can't remember which episode it was, 2 or 3 maybe, where I had that kind of tectonic shift where I like did the research and like started to try to wrap my head around the spells, and I got into a groove of using them for something of benefit in that part of the game. But late game, I'm trying to save it for, I'm just like grinding and like
saving it for the boss.
Yeah, I'm saving it for the bosses, and then I didn't even finish those. And then at the bosses, they didn't really seem to have much benefit for the most part. So,
man.
And like Todd, I'm not going to use any of Todd's because I need his melee damage. You know what I mean? It's just like in bosses were so melee fixated, and I understand you were using the wrecker a little bit differently than me, so that was a mistake on my behalf. But generally speaking, I don't think this magic in this game's.
Oh man, I disagree. That's fascinating because Yeah, when I'm going through the dungeons, all the late game stuff, I'm only like, unless I'm in a situation where I know like I'm about to go back to a town and there's something big, but for the most part I'm just using attacks. But for the boss, no, like on that, I'm saving up everything cuz I'm expecting to just have to unload cuz when I'm grinding, I'm fence testing each one of their spells and be like, okay, definitely this is the big thing to use, cost benefit, with the amount of TP it takes. And so like I was already, for me, I guess what I'm saying is like my agent, I was finding that even going through Noah, like for a lot of enemies, he's only doing like 16, 20, kind of 30 damage. Like it's not a lot for each of those, for his one swing that he's getting, even with the Nace sword. And so I'm kind of like, all right, when I see Mother Brain, it's going to be full on Nazon. I'm going to be blasting that because I know I'm getting 150 plus. So that was like my whole thing. And the same thing with Kane, the Wrecker. And of course, my other guys.
I'm pretty sure I tried.
So I'm planning to empty the clip on the boss, and I do, and it works.
I feel like I might have tried that, but on Dark Force, I mean, and at least one of my whatever whacks at trying to get through that fucker. I might have tried the spells, but I feel like you only use it a few times. The big fire one, it takes so much XP or so much TP rather that you can only do it a few times. So I just didn't feel like it got me anywhere really.
Yeah, mine took like 15 for Kane and then 9 or 7 or something like that. Not a whole lot for the agent, and so I was able to kind of just.
So they're not different person to person. They're the same TP on for each spell, regardless of who uses them.
Well, no. I'm saying like the one that the
spell that you were using. Yeah,
the spell I was using cost 15 for him and like maybe 10 or whatever for the agent. So if those are each doing 150, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 5 turns, and I'm like, sure. I'm good,
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible I just didn't fucking try to engage it enough and at the right times.
Disappointing, Josh. I'm disappointed, man. That's such a.
Jay,
I feel so
Jay,
good.
I feel so
good after having beat that game. I feel like such a sense of completion and like.
That's good. I'm envious. I also would feel like that, especially if I had gotten my fucking Chivo! Well, I didn't. As our side quests episodes normally go, we begin this final segment by flipping through page by page the kind of like lead dog literature of antiquity. But honestly, I'm tired of talking about this game, Jay, and I feel like this hint book is both poorly translated and completely devoid of any attempt to make the writing interesting and lore infused, so it's even less fun to read than traversing the dungeons and poorly constructed
especially
things.
At this point.
Right, especially, yeah. So, yeah. The only thing even mildly noteworthy is that its guidance drops off at Dark Force, so it doesn't spoil the end of the game. Yes. So that's one concession I will say that it was a choice that I appreciate. But other than that, this book was easily the shittiest one we went through for this. It's like the official Nintendo's Player's Guide kind of shit, like just that tier of like no fun. And for a game like this, the idea that this kind of book wouldn't just be filled with extra lore and extra effort to build out the story world, which is the whole like enjoyment and point of a game like this, really sucks in particular. So yeah,
I felt like I definitely had to look elsewhere. I'm like, this is not
right. Yeah, exactly. Not helpful and no fun. Terrible combination for a literature of antiques. So also kind of a bummer. But what are you going to do? So all we have left is our final thoughts about Phantasy Star 2, Jay. You feel accomplished. That's good. I don't even have that. But I guess tell me your wind down thoughts about where this game falls and whether or not it would be something that King Lorick would want others to play.
Honestly, it's my biggest complaint, I think, is the dungeons. They're not fun. They're just a pain in the ass. Like, I feel like on a lot of them, I'd need some kind of guide or something, because you're just dropping through chutes or going up and down stairs and up and down and just trying things, and just like, oh my gosh, like, unless this is the only thing I'm doing in my life for the next 8 weeks, like, you know what I mean, where I'm just going to be focused and then being able to find my way back and forth, like, it's going to be a pain. So like, I absolutely hated those. But on the flip side, grinding was not unenjoyable. Like, I did not mind the grind.
Yeah, the auto function is real nice, you know, if compared to
even
level of effort required in any other RPG we played to date.
Yeah, like even like the sheer grind, like figuring that thing out and like kind of going back and forth with that, like, it wasn't unenjoyable. Like, if I'm okay throwing on a podcast or some music or something and like doing that, and I'm not just like, oh my gosh, get me over this now, then it's not bad. And you know, again, not playing it for a podcast on the amount of time that we did, you know, actually just committing to it on a regular basis and playing through,
That would help a lot.
Yeah, I think it would definitely help a lot. Even though it does fall short with the dungeons to me. That is just not ideal, especially if you're going to try to play it on OG hardware and not like any kind of save stating, or not using some kind of like hint book.
Got to get
guide.
that Vizio phone. That's the cool thing. That's to its credit too, that it essentially gave you a save state with that Vizio phone.
If you have sheer, like, I didn't have that until the end, and I was like, oh, I started using it just because, as like an extra safety in case something happened. And then I was like, oh, this is cool now, but only if you're using this character, which I would never have used if there was not a hint book telling me she had some usability there. So like, when you pull all of these sources, all the guides, all the hints you can get, then I think it's really cool. It's fun. I could have murked the final boss without Anna and just left my guardian in there, Wrecker, everybody, and just like went to town on them. But because I took all the stuff in, if I had not gone back and I only had like the 2 Moon Dews and the 2 Stardust, I might not have. I don't know. I might not have made it through there at the end. Like, it might have been tough, and then I don't know. It might have been a different story. I don't know how I would have felt. But it is an interesting game. It was a fun game at times. I'm glad I beat it. At the same time, I would not want to come and play this again. Not that I ever feel like playing an RPG again, like when I beat it. So I guess that's not necessarily a knock. Like, it's not like I'm ever like, I want to play Dragon Warrior 1 again. No, I want to play 2 and then 3 and then, you know, the next one. So
unless you're playing for Chivos.
Yeah, I don't know. With all that said, I think it was a quality game. There's a lot to like about it. That it did a lot. It definitely could have been done better for sure. Yeah. So I think King Lorick would have had an interesting time with this one.
Okay, is that a yes?
I don't know, man. The minute I want to give it a yes, because the satisfaction of beating it feels so good. Like I thought I was going to be grinding all weekend, and I was like, I beat it Friday, and I was like, oh, this is great.
I got a whole weekend of myself.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And it felt good, but also at the same time, I'm like, but I also beat it using like guides and like using this hint book and that hint book and using this person's website, which gave me some hints. And I'm just like, if I didn't have any of that, no freaking way. And I might have been just like, what? You know, like, I might have beat it, but I might not have. I might have just taken me a lot longer. I don't know how that would have been. So that's a tough one. Okay. Like, I give it points for what it is in the timeline that we're at. 16-bit graphics, sound, cool lore story. They did a lot, but like that's like a barely like, all right, the King's gonna allow this one through. Don't bring that bullshit again. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
don't come again with this level of bullshit.
You go through. I'm gonna look over here. You walk that way. And we just don't ever talk about this. Yeah. Okay, so is that a loose yes?
A loose yes. Okay. Don't look too hard. Don't question it too hard.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. For me, man, I don't know. This was not a fun experience. I It was tedious and draining. I think as evidenced by the insane lapses of time between our episodes.
That's true.
You know?
That is true, yeah.
And I have to point this out. I cannot fucking believe the Nia death storyline didn't come back around in some kind of way before this shit wrapped up.
That is some BS. That is some whack BS.
That, I mean, you know, and here's the thing. Were they galaxy braining in it? And is that probably comes in 3 in some way, shape, or form. And you know by the point of this that they're thinking 3. In fact, just by the timeline of when 3 comes out, which I think it might already be out even, I can't remember. Or very close to in our timeline. So, you know.
It's weird, man.
Yeah, I got to be careful criticizing that because it may just be them thinking of this as more of a universe than whatever this game. And like you're supposed to, you know, Jason picks his head up before we cut to black in the credits, you know, at the end of Friday the 13th. You know, so like fucking it knows that it's going further, and therefore the story doesn't end here. So having some loose ends makes sense in that case. So I just can't believe that there wasn't some level of comeuppance though from that to kind of satiate that seemingly carrot they were dangling the whole time, you know. So
right. Wait a minute. You just said that. And I'm imagining King Galoric like thinking to himself for a second, like, wait a minute. If my blessing is contingent upon any disciples coming in here saying, like, which RPGs should we play of all the RPGs? Which one should I spend all my time playing?
I mean, it doesn't have to be the best RPG.
No. But should I spend my time playing it?
Right.
Like, I've got 180 hours to play. Like, do I spend it playing that one? I'm like, Dragon Warrior, yes. Okay. Final Fantasy, yes. This one,
man, I'm only in my first bullet
not.
point, and I've already talked you out of it, huh?
Yeah. I told you it was teetering. Okay. Anyway, carry on.
Okay. Yeah, man. So you know, there's that problem. I really like. I've talked ad nauseum about the shit with the equipment and the party composition and making you make decisions that there was no perfect answer to. That was a really good job and the best we've seen of that by far. You know, you had to make a choice about how you wanted to play the game and live with those benefits and consequences. And that is like a level of immersion and whatever.
That was cool.
That it's how an RPG is supposed to be. It's not just a linearly growing betterment of position, which you can easily argue that Dragon Warrior 1 is, and even Dragon Warrior 2, Final Fantasy, all 3 of them actually. Ultima, probably 2. Yeah, I think all of them to date. Like, it is just this constant, you know, betterment. And like that, this is where like maybe a wizardry comes in to say, we'll knock you off your fucking pedestal if you fuck around, no matter where you're at in the game. So like that is a level of, I don't know, some would call it brutality, maybe even in game design. But to me, I appreciate that in a world like this. I want there, you know, give me stakes, and that's stakes for sure, you know. So that is a really good job, and that I want to like that a lot. I already talked about the enemy sprites, the graphics and shit, variants and attacking visuals, all very good. The autopilot thing is really nice for grinding, like you said. Generally speaking, the music is fucking great. You know, the OST is fantastic. There's a ton of tracks, mostly everything unique that you would want to have in its own emotional fucking moment musically gets it. So, you know, all that is really well done. But yeah, I mean, the dungeons are like on another level of bad, dude. They are.
Yes.
And here's and honestly, to me, this is probably the thing about that is most fucked or most indicting, perhaps, is you didn't play the first one, but the first one, that was the worst part of the first game too. The dungeons were the worst part, and like even for that game, they were first person, and it was like, you know, fucking very progressive to be doing that on the SMS to have these first person dungeons. They were nothing, just like Ultima, just like fucking bare walls. You did see the enemies when you fought them, so they took time to build enemy sprites in those battles, in the things, if I recall correctly. Or no, were there battle screens? I don't know if you could see them. Maybe I'm wrong about that. It's been a while. But whatever the case, also very bare bones and not pleasant and very samey and very tedious and not fun to be in. Now they changed them to this, so they knew that didn't work. And they made a change for this, but they chose to do what they did, and it also wasn't good. So, like, while I commend switching it up, you didn't make it better for sure, or more pleasant, or more enjoyable, or more engaging, or more anything that's beneficial. So I think that is a really bad indictment that they saw that as a problem and still made it bad. Is to me a really icky, failure, I guess, for lack of a better term. And the thing about this, like, again, everything I've read, the third and fourth installments in this series are supposedly the best. So I pray something is done to mix this up in a way for the next one that is less arduous, because I don't want to write off this franchise entirely because of all these positive things we've talked about. But if we get into that play or we dabble in making the decision when that becomes available to us and I see the exact same thing going on in those dungeons, I don't think I can do it.
No chance.
I don't think I can do it.
Man.
So there's got to be something, a better mechanic or fucking design choice there, because they're just not fun, and it's got to change to make this a fun game. But yeah, man, fun story, world building by 1989 RPG standards. If you can get into it, because of the tediousness of the moment to moment stuff being so not enjoyable. But yeah, I mean, I really also I want to I guess just save it, I guess. No here and then save it for 3, hoping that these probably little changes, but ripple effects to them that make the whole thing more enjoyable, more fun, more, that couldn't get it to blessing status for me. Because this one didn't quite get it there, just like the first one didn't quite get it there. Ton of really interesting shit, but just didn't. Yeah. It just fell short. And I mean, this last third of the game, how many times in this fucking episode I said, I fucking couldn't even begin to get myself to care. I just needed to get to the next thing and get out of this. So that's a really bad way to feel in the third act of the fucking video game.
Exactly. Because that's why I think that's exactly why I'm excited to play more Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy and whatever else, because I didn't leave their dungeons wanting to hate.
Well, not leave the third act
anytime there was a dungeon.
Yeah, the third act in both those games is the best part, for sure. It's, or all 3 of those games, rather, is the best part. It's super fucking, it's ramping up. You finish the game and you're like, I could do more of this, And
whereas I'm just
thank God it's over, right? Thank God I deleted my save game. So I don't have to fucking play this anymore. Yeah, not good. And that's that's tough, man. Tough to get past, to feel that way coming out of it. So. And just in general, even what is happening behind me right now in this image, I don't know. I did not get closure.
Up to your imagination.
Right. Which I've commended games for that too, but there's a difference between open-ended interpretation and I just don't know what the fuck. I just don't know. Yeah. There's not even enough there's not enough there for me to even I hypothesize 2 things, but neither one of them, they're just kind of they're not, those are not hypotheses based on something in the game giving me a kernel to go on. It's just those are just the 2, what else could they be things, There's nothing in the game that makes me think that. It's just that's what it's got to be, because what else could it be? Because they didn't give me anything to think about. So, yeah, that also is not good. I didn't... You're saying you feel satisfied, but normally
I felt satisfaction in completing it.
Right.
But when I go back, because it's been so long, and think about the whole story when we went on, it was a very sprawling, sporadic, what is happening now? Kind of, right. It just felt less cohesive overall than some of the other ones, as far as okay, this is what's happening. I appreciate the twist. I like the changes at the end. But when I think back through all the stuff we went through and some of my earlier episodes, okay, the grinding is still, it's enjoyable and all that. But as a story, this is weird. The Nay stuff, okay, sure.
Right. Yeah, almost there, but not quite, I think, is maybe the ultimate way to walk away from that.
I think that's fair.
So our final status updates. My partio ratio never changed from that Agent, Guardian, Thief record deal. I never got around to making a change, as we've covered. I don't know specific. I want to say they were definitely all 31 to 32, I recall. I don't know which were which. I'm pretty sure maybe Agent and Anna were 32, and the Sheer and Wrecker were 31, would be my guess. But I do not have any screenshots or specifics. I do remember Todd's final HP was 235. The fact that I remember that is insane. I think, nice. But that's all I can say about my final status update. How did you finish out your
So, honorable mention to my homegirl Anna, who was with me the whole fight until Mother Brain and Todd decided to swap her out for the Wrecker. I know she was at level 30, so respect to her. But my Agent was at 31, had 229 health. My Hunter is at 30. And then Kane and Amy were both at 25.
Word.
So 31, 30, 25, 25. I was concerned about those 25s, but had more than enough to get it done.
Amazing that you beat it that way, and I was a whole level ahead, and just felt hopeless for the game.
Craziness, man. Crazy.
So it is. So what's next? I say we pound it out right here, Jay, and wash the ick of this game off of us with optimism and hope for our future questing. How do you feel about that?
Sounds good. I'm done with this forever.
May I pull up the list? Okay, I will pull up the list. ISOH. And at any time, dear listener, you can go to our public Google Drive and take a look at this list and see what we have on our radar here. That link is in the show notes, as it always is. Side quests yet to be quested list. So we have, what do we have here? We have 7 NES games, 1 SMS game, 1 Genesis game, and 1 T16 game. TurboGrafx 16 game as a possibility. The NES options available to us are Legend of Zelda, Destiny of an Emperor, Crystallis, Swords and Serpents, Star Tropics, Earthbound / Mother, and then Ultima 4 from SCI. On SMS is also Ultima 4 from Origin and Sega. Clearly, those 2 Ultima 4 options are probably our leading candidates here. And then for the Genesis option is Sword of Vermilion. So I guess maybe
you got jokes right now. Like,
yeah,
are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, I mean, the Genesis option, Sword of Vermilion is even more rudimentary, I think, as an RPG for a Genesis option than what we just went through. And I want to take, that's something we didn't say too, but like part of the problem with this is just that Sega goofy thing we often talk about. It's just like a little goofy. There's just stuff about it that's just a little goofy. And in some ways that's endearing and helpful to create a unique, interesting story world. And then in some ways, often functionality wise and just kind of just some of the way some of the things work, it's just a little goofy and a little less polished in the way that those Nintendo NES or NES RPGs have been to date, outside of Ultima, of course. But the Final Fantasy and Dragon Warriors just have a little more general polish to them, I think, that point being, I don't even want to talk about a Genesis game, basically, for an RPG anyways, until we get some other options, is kind of my point, I think, with that. So, I don't want to talk about Sword of Vermilion. I need something better than an Ultima game for sure, no matter where we go with that down the road. So I hear you. I'm not either of those Ultima options at the NES or SMS level. So all we're really talking about is some NES options, I think. Or that really wacky and wild TurboGrafx 16 option, which, I don't know enough about it either way, other than those games are revered, generally speaking, to know whether or not it's a good or bad idea.
Josh, there's one game on this list that I'm willing to discuss right now. One solitary game on this list. You're being too narrow-minded. There are 4 that I would genuinely talk about, and I think have merit to do so. What 4 are those? There's Star Tropics and there's nothing else.
Star Tropics is the least of this list that I think are viable. Well, I don't know, for the purpose of a side quest. Again, we've talked about Legend of Zelda has its one. It would be probably knock that out in a couple episodes. It lacks a lot of the substance that I think makes RPGs fun, or RPG episodes fun, I should say. So that is a little bit of a counter, argument to doing that. But it's Legend of Zelda, and we've said how it's insane that we haven't covered Legend of Zelda in any substantive way to date, and I think that still holds
true. The original one?
Yes, correct.
Okay, what are the other ones that you're talking about?
Crystallis, and then Earthbound. Earthbound is universally thought of as one of the greatest RPGs ever created. So even though it doesn't actually make it to the NES, we can play the translated version, and that's another game that has so much gravitas in the retro gaming community. I think it's insane that I still really know nothing about it, and 2, I haven't played it. So that is, I think that applies for both of us clearly. So that is a big argument to get outside the box and do that. And I also think it's like the people who like the story behind it is, I don't know. There's something I don't know even enough about it to make the argument really in a cohesive way. But I know there's like the storytelling in Earthbound is like a really powerful part of people's affinity for it. So that is what the side quests are about. So that's, you know, a really good argument to walk through that, because I think it's a really, I've based on all my like periphery fucking whatever collecting of information about it that I've done without any like real fucking concerted effort, is that it's a really powerful, impactful, emotional story, and that's a lot to say for an RPG. So you know, that is a really good argument for that. I think like play wise, Crystalis is a fantastic, like the act of playing it, like Star Tropics, man. The top down portions of that game are not fucking fun. I hate the top down portions of that game. I've tried to play that game. I like the story world is cool to me. The storytelling is great. I like the overall map stuff. I like some of this, you know, I like a lot about it. But when I get into those moments where we're doing the top down fucking shit and the action type moments, they're so bad compared to most top down games like that. And I think Crystalis and Legend of Zelda both would be way more fun. I think Earthbound is just a turn-based deal, so that is not even a conversation point about this.
I mean, I think maybe we might need to table this, because I want to remind you that you tried to take me, you took me through Ultima 3, F that, and then back that up with a 2-year expedition through this game. You're not convincing me to like go on some other whack journey right now. Like, there's a very limited scope that I'm willing to go
I'm telling you,
now.
Star Tropics is the whack journey. How much have you played?
What?
How much have you played of the actual top down? How much have you played of it? Just
only a tiny little bit of it.
Oh, then dude,
and even that was exciting.
You have not experienced I played. I'm trying to think of a way to like put the like give numbers to it, but like, I mean, there was a 2-issue Nintendo Power feature on this, right? Mm. I played, I think, all the way through. When I played on Switch that one time, I want to say that I played all the way through the first feature. So I don't know how much of the game that is. It's got to be at least 25%, 33%, you know. And then I was through that, so probably some change, you know. So I played a not bullshit amount of the game, and I stopped playing because I remember being in a part with some of that shit, and I died a bunch of times, and I was like, this sucks. It does not feel good. The controls of those sequences are not fun, and it's hard to get to the fun story parts of even maybe a good story or good story world if the moment-to-moment mechanics of playing it suck. That's why I know Crystalis is functionally good. There's like a little bit goofy shit with like some menu. You have to do a lot of menu stuff to switch to different weapons and shit is one gripe I remember reading about it. But generally speaking, the feel of the control of the game is good. And obviously Legend of Zelda is fucking amazing as far as that goes.
No chance on Crystalis. 0 chance. I would hear Zelda because it's the Legend of Zelda, and we talked about that. But that's what I mean, like, unless you want to table this conversation, we're doing Star Tropics. Maybe I could hear some Zelda. But I am not playing Crystalis right now. There's 0 chance.
Okay, what about Earthbound?
Probably also 1% chance.
I think then... Yeah,
I would need.
I'm fine, man. We're making a big decision here, so I understand wanting to do some research. I can live with doing some research.
That's I need to recall some of these things. I'm like, I feel like there's some good things.
I hear not.
There's some good. There's some bad. People say they're good.
I hear not making any rash decisions that are going to affect the next 2 years of your life.
Right.
Here's the thing, though, Jay. If we make a good decision, it's not 2 years of your life. It's an important thing.
True. That's true.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. I sprung it on you to begin with. That's fine. Do some research. I think I would just say I strongly advocate that it be either Earthbound or Legend of Zelda, because I think they're both. You know, again, we're kind of. I don't know how many. Well, the Dragon Warriors, obviously. But I don't know how many other games for the NES we'll put on this list. And it doesn't, whatever. The list doesn't go away just because we move on in the timeline. So that is whatever. Maybe not the greatest point. But going back to an NES game for sure makes sense to me. And getting some like these quintessential NES games in now in our timeline make a lot of sense to me, and that's where the Earthbound Legend of Zelda arguments come in.
That's fair, because I'm at the point where, I mean, this podcast is named after King Lork, and his, like, I'm ready to just play Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy stuff, and like, so I'm leaning towards being okay playing like a staple,
Dragon Warrior
like
3 is coming.
like your Zelda.
Huh.
Like, I'm okay with that. But
So, I mean,
yeah.
I think it might be a good idea to do Zelda, dude. Because one, it'll be that's like a 2-episode deal. We'll get through that fucking. And there's it's not completely like there is conversation, not a lot of it, and there is story. There's just because there's not a lot of words doesn't mean there's not a lot of story. Especially, we have the aid of just knowing the lore of that story world. So even if it's not in that game, we know where that falls in.
We can
the
draw
Zelda
upon it.
Right, exactly. And pull all that stuff in and talk about those moments and what they mean in the grand scheme of fucking the Legend of Zelda storytelling, even if it's not able to be in that. And honestly, that little fucking I've never went through that guide, that little book that they sell in all the Nintendo Powers that we would use as our literature of antiquity, Legend of Zelda Tips and Tactics. So that may be full of lore, and it's made by Nintendo, so you'd think that they would try to paint it with such and not half-ass that. So that may enhance our experience on that front anyways, depending on how I'll take a look at that book and see how much that does for us in that regard, because that would be cool if it's full of like really fun stuff to pick apart.
Yeah.
Because you play that game, and if you're just playing it as a game and you're not like trying to make more out of the story, you don't have to, and that game is lean enough as far as that goes and action filled enough that you don't need that to enjoy yourself. So most kids probably just played that game and didn't even think about any of the shit. So if there's a literature of antiquity that kind of creates that for us, that's probably going to be unexplored territory that even for me that's played that game plenty of times will get some enjoyment and some new whatever out of. So that to me is appealing too. So either way, that gives us both some homework
Yes.
to work on, and I support that idea. So okay, we'll table it. One thing we could talk about at least a little bit is Jab's gone, so adding a third person to the mix, like I think these episodes, like having kind of the different whatever soup instead of just the two of us the way we do normal game episodes is an interesting dynamic, and that finding a way to get that back even without Jab is a fun idea to me. And there's two things we could do, especially for a game like Zelda, which is because the hardest part about like either bringing in a disciple or even one of the things, like I just did a guest spot on Still Loading that I think comes out today actually. That guy's a fellow Josh. I did a spot on his podcast when we were talking about towards the end there, kind of just the format of the show and how we don't do guest stuff because it's like about our collective fucking whatever rapport for the main episodes, and then kind of we're doing this like in this chronological order that like I think you need to be part of and be there for the whole ride for it to be best served, and just the format doesn't really serve that. But the side quests are kind of like these self-contained fucking sandboxes that you don't need all that whatever collective fucking shit come. That's why Jab is able to do it. so maybe doing that and that that's also a thing. Just becoming more part of that community is probably a good idea. That's something I was thinking doing that guest spot too, is like the fact that like I don't engage this shit and find some way to I tried to do that a little bit with that config sys thing, the computer games. That was kind of the idea, getting that going, was to give us a guest spot opportunity. But these might be an opportunity for that too, and I don't think there'll be any shortage of people from other podcasts that want to talk about Legend of Zelda. So that might be an option too. So that's something to think about too. And I don't know, I'll think on actual whatever, and we can talk about maybe who we can pose that to, and I can throw out some feelers as well. But yeah, I want to find a way to get someone else in there for those, some way, shape, or form. And for a game like Zelda too, like I don't know, we can put it up on the Facebook pages and shit and see what the interest level is, and see if some of the our more hardcore lore disciples would like to participate in that, and if they think it's something they even want and have because it is a commitment, and that's the thing too. Is like even if we, whatever, we fucking hodgepodge the scheduling and had our difficulties with 3 people, even with jabs, so it's not like that's going to be any different. Scheduling 3 adults schedules is going to be hard no matter who or what we do, but not everyone wants to even think about doing that. Whereas podcasters are going to be kind of disposed to whatever, that part of their life, dedicating that level of effort and time. So that is something we can think about. But okay, well, all right. So that is finally Phantasy Star 2 SideQuest coming to a close for us. It was quite the journey. Thank you all of the people that actually are listening to these episodes for dealing with the long lapses in continuity between them. I hope we gave you some level of closure to our specific journeys through the game. You can subscribe to the pod on the platform provided by whatever dumbest company that serves your pottery. And please rate and leave positive shit for the pod on whatever platform you do listen to us on if you enjoy this nonsense. And the website is nyehentertainment.com/ISOH-pod. Email us directly at isohpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any really strong arguments for any of those games that we've talked about, and you don't want to do it in a public forum on either our Facebook pages, Reddit, Instagram, whatever, feel free to email us directly. And if you have a strong interest in participating in one of those particular campaigns, by all means, email us as well, and we can discuss the feasibility of that. You can follow the pod and banter with us on any of those, so please do that. Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, as I said. Our gameplay videos are on the YouTube. Links to all those are in the show notes. We do not have a Patreon, but if you'd like giving money to things podcasters tell you to, I'd like to do so to our direction. The Able Gamers Foundation creates custom gaming rigs for gamers with disabilities, and that is cool as fuck. And what are you wearing? A shirt? Is that a Able Gamers?
No, this
shirt?
is an Xbox. This is an Xbox.
You lean back. I was like, what is that support? Actually, I've been wondering that the whole episode. What are we supporting? I don't know.
This one is specifically to support black colleges. It was a
okay.
Xbox thing.
Copy. Also, we're supporting seemingly. So we do not have one of those, but please do go to ablegamers.org to support them if you would like to do so. And the t-shirts on the website, they're dope, and proceeds on those after product expenses go to Able Gamers. Jay, what's your socials?
Gentleman JB without the second E is my gamer tag. So come game with me, and that's also where you'll find me when I sporadically appear on social media.
What social media specifically, though, Jay?
You can find me there on Instagram and Facebook and Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, all right.
Whether or not I'm posting.
Well, the best way to get Jay posting is to fuck with him on any of those platforms and send him shit. So please do that. And I am on Instagram. And my gamer tags on both Oculus and Steam are all my shift key is broke. And then you can find me on Blue Sky at nyehentertainment.com. Okay, bye.
Bye.